Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Volvo. Visit Volvo Glasgow for the Volvo New Car Sale event from the 12th to the 26th of September. Buy selected new Volvos and get your first 3 services for only $399.
This is Grade A football.
There's still hope for the Hoops.
Can Celtic get a goal? They must score a goal.
The Europa League remains a possibility.
It's a crucial one for Celtic.
Possibility.
The Celtic fans to my left, they're up.
Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Let's go back to Celtic Park. Kick-off fast approaching. Andrew McLean.
Yeah, the team's just making their way out the tunnel at the moment, and they will be joining Ukrainian children who are on the pitch at the moment. They've been invited along as mascots tonight. There have been several hundred tickets given out as well to Ukrainians who are able to make it along to the game tonight. I will bring you the teams just as they make their way out the tunnel. For Celtic, it's Joe Hart in goal for them tonight. The back four, Joseph Juranovic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Moritz Jens and Greg Taylor. The midfield three, Matt O'Reilly, Reo Hatate and Sead Haksabanovic. It's Leila Bada, Kyogo and Yorgos Giacomakis who are the front three. The options from the bench for Ange Postecoglou tonight: Bain, Siegrist, Moy, Turnbull, McCarthy, Bernaby, Abildgaard, Maida, Forrest and Ralston. As for the visitors, Anatoly Trubin in goal for them. The back four, Lucas Taylor, Valery Bondar, Mikola Matvienko and Bogdan Mikhailichenko. The midfield three, Taras Stepanenko, Artem Bondarenko and Georgy Sudakov, and it's Alexander Zubkov on the right. The danger man, Mikhailo Mudryk on the left, and Lucina Traore up front for them. The striker committing a cardinal sin tonight by wearing the number 2 shirt as a striker. We'll see if he causes Celtic much danger tonight. Still no sign of the teams at the moment, but it is another huge night of Champions League action for Celtic here on this. You know, Celtic fans know the result they need tonight. They need a win, and that's something they haven't managed at home in this competition since 2013. That was a 2-1 win over Ajax, I should say. James Forrest scored in that game, but their home form in the Champions League has been poor since then. 7 straight losses here in this competition, but there will be hope from that performance away from home against Shakhtar, a game Celtic, they created plenty of chances in that match, but they just couldn't put the Ukrainians away. Ange Postecoglou looking for them to create a similar number of chances tonight, but wants to make sure his players can take them, and that's maybe why he's gone for such an attacking lineup. Haksabanovic, Abada, Kyogo, Giacomakis, 4 players who can take chances, 4 players who can score goals, and it looks as if Celtic are going all out from the start tonight. Interesting to see exactly how they line up as well, whether Haksabanovic slots into the midfield 3 as he has previously, or whether he's out wide and Kyogo is more central alongside Giacomakis. Shakhtar have that big threat too, as we all know about from club and international level. Mikhailo Mudryk, 3 goals and 5 assists in 6 league games so far this season for him. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists as well in the Champions League group stages as the anthem rings out here at Celtic Park.
Just leaves that. Just listen to it for a bit, Gordon Dalziel. The atmosphere sounds sensational.
Yeah, I think every Celtic fan going along tonight senses that this is their best opportunity to get the first 3 points on the board. But look, take nothing away from the opposition. They have they've got good players that can hurt you. But I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the attacking lineup. I couldn't see that coming, but he's decided get the big hitters out there and go for the goals that everybody wants.
The crowd certainly seem up for it, Andrew McLean.
Yeah, they absolutely do. There was an acoustic version of You'll Never Walk Alone before the players made their way out the tunnel. The fans had their scarves in the air as well. There was the disco lights on the go. There's a flare that's gone off over to the right where the Green Brigade sit as well. The Champions League flag is just making its way off the pitch at the moment. The players complete their handshakes, and the Celtic fans are in full voice ahead of this game. They know what's at stake. They are craving European football after Christmas. It's not something that fans will ever want is to crash out in the group stages. Yes, it's a huge competition, the Champions League. Yes, you come up against massive opposition and some fantastic clubs, fantastic players as well. But the Celtic fans, they will want to know that after the World Cup break, after Christmas, they've got something to look forward to as well. It's a big ask, because not only do they need to get the 3 points here tonight, they also would then need to go to Real Madrid, and it would be at least a draw they would need to get from that game, because they would need to better Shakhtar's result against Leipzig. But look, Shakhtar have it all to play for as well. They want to finish second in this group. They want to progress in the Champions League, and I think maybe some people thought that they would be the underdogs of this group, Shakhtar, but they've shown they're no mugs whatsoever. They almost beat Real Madrid just a couple of weeks ago. They were only a few minutes away. They were 1-0 up in injury time, and Real Madrid managed to bag that goal. They of course got a good win away to Leipzig as well. They caused Celtic some problems in the game in Poland, but it's a game Celtic really should have won, and we've talked about it so much as the Celtic players go into the huddle. It's been the story of their Champions League group stage. There's been so many chances created by these Celtic players, and Ange Postecoglou just wants them to play the exact same way. He wants them to do that, and he's hoping that they will be able to convert the chances. And just looking at the way the Celtic players are lining up at the moment, it looks as if Sead Haksabanovic has gone over to the left and Kyogo and Giacomakis are both central, so it could well be Kyogo just in behind Giacomakis, maybe similar to what we saw Liverpool do at Anfield against Rangers, where it was more of a 4-2-4 and they had Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez playing as a front two. But it is going to be a very attacking lineup for Celtic tonight. Will they be able to take the chances that they haven't managed to in previous Champions League games? Lassina Traore standing over the ball. We are just about to get underway for this one.
Super Scoreboard European football coverage with MoyerandSweeney.com. The top team for your defence.
Showtime, Mark Wilson.
Yeah, big match, big occasion. You hear the atmosphere, the tune, you know, it makes the hairs in the back of your neck stand up when you hear that. But the players have now got to deliver. And the manager has set the team out in an incredibly attacking way for a Champions League game. Now that's to be commended because it shows bravery, but time will tell if it works. It does look like Kyogo and Giacomakis through the middle with a couple of white guys in Abada and Haksabanovic. Whether it stays like that or whether it'll be quite fluid, who knows. But huge occasion, because it's the best chance, I think Daz says, of European football after Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've actually witnessed the two up top for Celtic, and they like that lone striker. But I just think rotation. I'm delighted Haksabanovic has stayed in the left, because I think he's got a great relationship with Taylor now. I think they build the play up down that left hand side so well. But they've got plenty of rotation there. They've got plenty of pace. They've got plenty of movement. So they're hoping to cause a few problems tonight and get some goals. But I still think this team are decent, and they'll need to be at their best at the back.
Just have to look at the results they've got against Real Madrid. They got a point, and in the game they lost, they were very, very close. So they'll have confidence as well. Kyogo is everywhere. Mark Wilson, he's certainly not playing off the left. That's for sure.
No, he's certainly not. It does look like Haksabanovic left, Abada right, Giacomakis certainly through the middle, but Kyogo just looks to be...
Is Kyogo behind Giacomakis, do you think? No, rather than, it's not a traditional front two, or is it?
No, look, when they're pressing, I think he's going to go up there, but I think he's always naturally going to be the one to drop off. When Celtic are in possession, drop into those little holes like a number 10 would be. I think he can play that no problem at all, and then when it gets into wide areas, he's got to make the box to make up numbers in alongside Giacomakis.
Celtic have squeezed Shakhtar well a couple of times already, and actually I thought they were going to get in by doing so, but the referee gave Mykhailo Mudryk the benefit of the doubt, felt that Juranovic had got a bit too close, but you can clearly see him now. It's Abada chasing down the goalkeeper, forcing him to go long. None of this is a surprise. We all knew this is how Celtic would go at it, Mark Wilson. It's just about can they score. They've done this in every Champions League game. They've looked fine. In fact, here they go into the box with Abada. He just tries to square it first time and it's cut out.
Yeah, well, that is the big thing, and where Celtic have got to learn that it's brilliant seeing a team start a game like this. High intensity, pressing, then when they get the ball, moving it quickly and runners off the ball. The thing they've got to learn is it is impossible to do that for 90 minutes. So you've got to pick and choose your times in the second half, and maybe they've ran themselves into the ground at times. The timings of the goals against them,
well, it's if you don't score, isn't it?
Yeah, if you don't score, and obviously that detracts a bit from
free
your
kick
fitness as
Celtic in a good crossing position. Haksabanovic, I don't know if it was I think was that two nutmegs.
Yeah,
there was certainly one in there out the left. Really nice footwork from him, brought it down, and going to be a free kick in a wide area. It's so typical of what Celtic do, because Greg Taylor just wanted to take it quick and just pass it. The referee says no, and now they might almost be forced to cross it in the way that you would expect.
Yeah, all the big boys are up from the back, so I think this ball will get into the back post. Gordon will go and attack it. Kyogo's just dropped onto their sitting midfield player, and he's going to play off them. But it was good play with the three that I was describing on the left hand side to win the free kick.
Haksabanovic will just do that one where you put it in an area and maybe even hope that it bounces all the way through. Unfortunately for him, it's dreadful and a very easy clearance.
Yeah, that's poor. That's an opportunity. Yeah, you've got Giacomakis on the side, Jens is up, Carter Vickers is up. I think that's a pretty simple ball to get right for a guy of his ability anyway. So disappointing, but Celtic moving the ball quickly, like we've seen so many games. They will create chances. Big thing is taking them.
Yeah, good start this from Celtic in terms of territory and possession. It's only 4 minutes gone and there's been no real chances yet. I think Greg Taylor's run that one out of play. Didn't actually look out, to be honest, but the decision's been made. Great start in the Gordon DL derby, by the way, between Ayr and Partick Thistle. I know you remembered so fondly at both clubs.
Thistle.
Logan Chalmers had Ayr in front after 16 minutes, and less than 2 minutes later Lee Hodson equalised for Partick Thistle. So a good start in that one. No goals at Celtic Park. We're a good 10 minutes behind that championship fixture though.
I think Celtic fans and the manager will be happy the way they've went about their business so far, Gordon. Early doors, they usually go off to a good start. Haksabanovic,
it's a great run from Haksabanovic, then sticks one halfway down London Road with the cross mark. There's nothing worse when it just comes off the outside of your boot.
And
a souvenir.
Look at him.
A souvenir for the young fan who's nabbed the match ball and will be showing it off at school tomorrow.
Yeah, because by the way, those balls aren't cheap. They are not cheap. The official ones. So you'll be playing with that in the playground tomorrow. In your day, I was going to say you could blame the pitch. Oh, it took a bobble, but the standard of this pitch. That's
Celtic's press was good again there, and they won it back. But then Matt O'Reilly tries to pass it through first time. Trampoline on the boot, and it goes miles away from where he wanted it to.
Not like him. He's usually very good
I think he had to force that first time.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I
think he had to force it first time.
Yes, I think you've got to play early on the counter with his team. They're absolutely pushing
all over Shakhtar, aren't they? In terms of territory, I'm not saying they've created much, but they've absolutely suffocated them so far.
Yeah, and they're moving the ball side to side, Gordon, and mostly down this left hand side. If I've got to be honest, I think Celtic's strongest. Haksabanovic seen a lot of ball early doors. You got to say that about him. I wouldn't be playing that ball.
I was going to say that's an odd choice for Haksabanovic.
High diagonal too.
Yeah, it opens up. He then drives the ball a big high diagonal, but it's to Abada. And you think, if you're going to do that, maybe whip it in with a bit of pace. You've got a big guy, a 6 foot, whatever Giacomakis is in the middle. That's an odd one.
Abada's not bad if he's in an area and can score with his head, but he's not going to tower over the fullback, is he, to sort of knock it back across with that type of a ball?
Certainly not. And you can just see Shakhtar, they're just trying to clear the area and try and get up the pitch as best they can, but Celtic swarming all over them. And it's incredibly hard to play against a team that's willing to commit numbers forward. Now, the danger is, if you play a good enough side who will pop it round you, you're left with a back four. Or
as we say, if you don't score. That's really what it's come down to. This is no different.
But I'm talking about the press here. If you're come up against a Madrid or a Leipzig who are better than Shakhtar, they might just pop it round you and you're done. But I don't believe Shakhtar are as good as them, even though the results have been alright for them. But you just see there, they've given it straight back to Celtic.
This is easy for me because I'm trying to describe what this match looks like since it's on radio, and all I'll say is, see if you've seen any of Celtic's previous Champions League games, it just looks exactly like that. The home ones, they're on top of Leipzig, suffocating the life out of them. By a mile, the better team. But Gordon, the Celtic fans now, you learn from your experiences. They'll be happy with the start, but they know from previous games, it's going to take more than this bit. The important bit is what comes next, and so far in this group Celtic haven't been able to do it. So is tonight the night? Yeah, well, hopefully for Celtic it will be, because they've been in this movie before, Gordon. It's wonderful from Kyogo, just dropping into an area. Giacomakis He hits one over the bar from the edge of the box. If he's got a bit more presence of mind, he just rolls it into Haksabanovic, who's coming into the box, Mark.
What a pass it was, right enough, from Kyogo to Hatate, who then finds Giacomakis. You're totally right, Gordon. He just keeps that going there, and Haksabanovic is coming onto it. It's a great move, and it just highlights Kyogo playing in that area. How good he is. We've only really seen him off a side or predominantly through the middle. But he looks good so far. I know we're only 8 minutes in, but he looks comfortable in there.
He's good with the one-touch finish, Giacomakis. We know that, Gordon, but he doesn't have to take too many one-touch finishes from 22 yards out.
Yeah, just a typical striker. He sees the goals, he sees an opportunity, has a goal. So I'll never blame him for that. But I think he picked the wrong option. I think if he moves it to the side again, Haksabanovic has got a great chance to, test the goalkeeper at least.
Here's the first time we've seen Shakhtar come forward, and it's a lovely turn from the man that we picked out earlier, Mikhailo Mudryk. Very, very sharp. Cuts inside and just keeps the move going, so it's not in.
Is he on his way? Is he on his way to anywhere?
I mean, there was talk of Arsenal, wasn't there? But I don't know. I don't think anything's
Arsenal. Rumours of Arsenal.
I don't think anything's set in stone. I could be wrong.
Can certainly see why, can't you? I mean, just the way he moves the ball, and then once he gets going, it's hard to stop him. Yeah.
But
as we said, Aaron Hickey found a way for sure.
I'll say something about the opposition. As much as Celtic's work rate's brilliant, they're confident on the ball. They'll take it in tight spaces. They've knocked this ball about brilliantly here. Really comfortable, every one of them. Celtic working really hard to make them force them into mistakes, but they look like they're quite happy to take the ball
only
in good
now
positions.
Though, to be fair, it's taken about 9 minutes for them to look comfortable,
but they've still been trying to play out for the back. They'll play the right way, and they're knocking about here. As much as they're not threatening Celtic, let's be honest, but they're just taking the sting out the game, as they say in the coaching
as
world.
we've said, you can't always keep banging on about budgets and money. I mean, if Celtic can't at least hope to beat teams like Shakhtar, Mark, I don't know what you are aiming for. But Andrew McLean was saying that he spoke to, I think it was a travelling journalist, and Shakhtar are hoping to get 70 million for Mudryk. So that that's the level of talent that you're talking about here.
It's never going to happen in our league, is it? No matter if Kyogo scores 40 goals, nobody's bidding 70 million for him. So there is a big difference for players on the continent to ours here. But look, what Shakhtar's been through, and their squad being ripped apart, and the battles that they've come up against, no doubt Celtic would have looked at this home game and said that's our best chance of 3 points in this group, without a doubt. So they need to make it count. There's no point in keep saying that, and this is pretty to watch. It needs to turn into a win. Ange Postecoglou says it as well. He agrees.
Been a rapid start by Celtic. Just for the last minute or two, Shakhtar have started to get to grips with it a bit, and had a period of possession themselves, which of course, Mark, is the best way to give yourself a breather and take the sting out of your opponents. But here comes Celtic into the box. It just evades Giacomakis. There was a couple of passes and they just needed the ball to fall, but Mudryk is so dangerous. He's left O'Reilly as if he wasn't there at all, and he's just about found his teammate before the ball goes out of play. It's dangerous stuff, this.
Three or four Celtic players round me, and not one of them stepped towards him. You seen Juranovic thinking, I think if that's any other player in that Shakhtar team, somebody's stepping forward to tackle him, but they know he's got that presence of mind and that quick to nip it round him and pick a pass. He's a top player.
Juranovic is a top level footballer and he doesn't get absolutely done for pace that often, but he knows what happened over in
and that sticks with you.
Warsaw.
Trust me, Gordon, that does stick with you when you've been done as a fullback and you're coming up against a guy, and 3 weeks after that,
we've quizzed you before on the best you played against. You said was Ronaldinho. Who was the quickest? Was it anyone that caused proper fear?
Look, this will be a surprise. Probably not on the European stage.
No.
I remember Ivan Sproul.
Oh yeah, okay.
I remember Ivan Sproul at Easter Road, a game, and he was jogging by me, and I remember Roy Keane actually came over and just played beside me to help me out for the second half. It worked.
You said this guy
needs help.
It's not a bad guy to get, but he just noticed it. He noticed he needs a bit of help as a fullback, but
there we are.
It's not an easy position.
Do you hear that, Ryan Giggs? Cristiano Ronaldo. None of you were as quick as Ivan Sproul. I hope you know that.
You remember him, Daz?
Yes, I do.
He's got a hat-trick at Ibrox.
Yeah.
Anyway, imagine you've just tuned in on Champions League. Who's Ivan Sproul playing for?
Is he playing for Shakhtar?
We
now?
do sometimes go off on a tangent, but we're here till 11 o'clock. So quite frankly, we need to keep ourselves entertained, because this game has been a very fast start. It's had a mini lull at the moment. One that'll definitely suit Shakhtar, because they're the one with controlled possession now. And Celtic now doing is it the mid-block now, Mark? Is that
the term nowadays? I don't know. We didn't use that at Brecon.
They're sort of letting Shakhtar come to the halfway line, but they might wish they hadn't, because great tracking back though from Haksabanovic.
Yeah, it certainly is. But look, I said it before, it's incredibly difficult just to press their back line constantly, so you need to pick and choose. But good play from Haksabanovic and Taylor to work their way out of there. Bad play from Giacomakis, who tries a step over, kicks out the pitch, and he's put his team under pressure.
That's what I was going to say, Gordon. It's one thing, the execution, but just the decision making. He's just getting that easy little reverse pass inside, but he tries a step over to flick it out to the wing, and it goes out for a throw. And he's not been overcritical, but it's twice he's just picked a blatantly wrong option.
Yeah, his manager will be delighted with the way he showed. He's held the ball in, and then it's the easiest part. All he has to do is pass it a couple of yards to the side and then get out the space and let someone come in there. But just a bit slack. But good play with Celtic here.
Juranovic is just going to whip it in. It's been nicked, and I wonder, maybe it's just the angle we're at. I thought that was going out for a corner, and Haksabanovic could have left it. Instead he flings a leg at it, and the keeper just collects it easily.
Yeah, good play from Celtic to work it up into an area. I saw Kyogo's run. He just darted in behind the back line. Hatate had it. I think he's good enough to play that pass, but he chose to go wide to Juranovic. So, promising stuff. I mean, you looked at it there. O'Reilly certainly wasn't the deepest one there for Celtic in the midfield. He was up at the edge of the box.
And just to remind you of what's capable. Well, it doesn't make much. I
know, but it's just unbelievable.
RB Leipzig 1, Real Madrid 0. So they're showing that they are no mugs. I think as Celtic found out in the previous game, they're 1 up on Real Madrid. We did say this though, we called this, they're incredible at going on and winning the Champions League, but they don't always steamroll the group every time, Real Madrid. So I'll tell you what, it's a result that would move Leipzig within a point of them. Now here comes Shakhtar. This is dangerous for Celtic. Luckily a really poor choice. Good reading of it as well.
This is where Celtic might get joy though, if they get it right.
Not if they play like that, they won't, because they've given it away. It started with Jens, now the midfield have lost it. Shakhtar are in, here's this man Mudryk, he just can't get it to sit down for him. And it's great from Greg Taylor, and I think it's a corner for Shakhtar,
kick.
And as a corner, it did come off Taylor, but if Taylor doesn't get inside him there, he's putting his boots through that.
Now hold on a second,
saying that it's a handball.
Shakhtar boss feels it's a handball, and of course with VAR I'm going to be a bit worried about some Celtic fans if after a weekend in which they felt they should have had the handball and didn't get one, if they now get one against them. Checks if there was one. It's complete. It's a corner kick, it's flicked on, bit of danger this for Celtic. A good block though, edge of the box, and now Abada has it. Can Celtic make Shakhtar pay on the counter? They might just do, I mean, Shakhtar, to be fair, they're well drilled, they've got men back, and Abada just tries a silly pass. He's not making that one happen, and then Celtic do win it back. Yeah, they do win it back. I thought he'd given away a free kick. Ref wasn't interested.
I mean, look at Greg Taylor's run.
It's another good game this. Greg Taylor's on the right side of the penalty box, because why not?
It's so odd to see. I mean, he's picked up the ball, he's got the ball back for Celtic. Instead of halting he's ran into where you would find a Bada usually at that
corner. Celtic,
and won a corner. So it's great play. We're just seeing the handball back.
That was, after all the debate about the weekend, that one was definitely by Carter Vickers' side.
Hand outside the box, I think that was it.
Never mind then. Celtic worked the corner short just to Matt O'Reilly. He's thinking about a shot. Oh my. It's a
look at Taylor. You see Greg Taylor standing in acres of space. I thought O'Reilly,
the stadium geography will help me out here. Matt O'Reilly's taken a shot and it's ended up in the Green Brigade section, so that maybe tells you,
paints the picture, doesn't it? It was a similar corner to they hit the post, didn't they, against Leipzig, to the edge of the box. O'Reilly hits it, but I thought that time little reverse onto Taylor, who could have been in. It was well worked.
I agree with you, Gordon. I think we're having a cracking game. I really like this. I like the patterns of the game. They sit off when they lose the ball, but when they get the ball, they are a very dangerous side. And obviously Celtic, moving that ball very quickly, trying to create chances. Good game.
And sometimes that level of opponent can just cut you. It was one pass and it sort of left Matt O'Reilly and Lee Labada eliminated, but then here comes Celtic, they win it back. It's great value, but then Abada gives it away and back and forward we go.
Again, I've said it a few times, but this is a slightly different lineup. I just wonder a bit of Riley and Hatate being a bit stretched in there.
Dangerous ball back post, Moritz Jens deals with it, corner Shakhtar.
Needed to make that, didn't he, at the
good
back
defending.
post.
That was
Needed
good
to make
defending.
it.
If they're going to be dangerous tonight, it's got to come down this left hand side. That's a decent ball in, good defending.
Yeah, just when you're playing, it looks like Tate and O'Reilly are playing just a two in there, and we've seen a couple of times them just one pass, the two midfielders are too far apart. It's very difficult for them, and they're through the Celtic backline.
They don't even look that far apart, but it doesn't take much for players at this level to find that.
Yeah, they'll find it.
Because they both seemed quite in close contact with each other, but they did get completely eliminated there, and Shakhtar have another corner kick. It's been a very lively start. There are some other goals in the Champions League. Antonio Silva has Benfica one up on Juventus. Juventus nowhere near the force they used to be.
Yeah, what's happened to them?
In this competition.
Change of manager coming up, maybe?
All sorts. Mudryk with the cross again. It came in towards Traoré, but couldn't quite get the head on it. And true what Andrew McLean says, UEFA give out fines quite a lot. I'd expect one surely to Shakhtar for a number 2 as a striker. we can't
no, we don't like seeing that.
Andy Carroll's a number 2
again. We don't like that. Fine him as well.
Okay,
is that for Reading?
Yeah,
I can't believe Alex allowed that.
number 2.
You think a man of Alex's
tradition. Alex still wears Puma Kings, for goodness sake.
he does like them, doesn't he?
He can't be a striker wearing the number 2. It was something to do with his children, though, wasn't it?
Okay.
It was some sentimental reason, I'm sure. But anyway, good from Celtic, and I'll eventually be able to finish a sentence. Every time I say it's good, then the next pass breaks down because it's just so quick. The tempo of the game is so fast. And
I like that from the ref. He's let that go there. There was a few wee
let
nibbles.
that one go though.
Nope,
Ivanovic commits the foul.
Yep.
I'd like to see
Frantic,
Abada taking care of the ball a little bit better. I think he's giving it away cheaply, and you don't want to do that against this side. You want to keep them, you want to be on the front foot against them.
It must be hard because the instruction is clearly get it and go. Every time you get it, Real Madrid are 2-0 down at RB Leipzig. Christopher and Kunku with the goal. Yeah, every time they get it, Gordon, it's the obvious instruction is to get it and go. If you don't have the quality to always do that at top speed, you're going to lose the ball, and that's sometimes what we're seeing, isn't it? Yeah, and because you're playing against a team that's up another level, that's when they find the gaps very quickly. In the Premier League, and I'm not being disrespectful to our leaguer players, but it takes them maybe an extra pass, an extra 2 passes to get. These guys can do it in an instance for you. Incredible result coming in from Leipzig, and Kunku, what a player he is, and he's put Leipzig 2-0 up against Real Madrid. There's another good player scored, Gordon, if you check the screen. No, not Sam Vokes, Lionel Messi. 19 minutes, PSG 1 up.
Selling in at PSG now. He's a slow start, but
I think he's
the player he is now.
What age is Lionel Messi now?
He's going to be 35.
Is he ready for
maybe?
a retirement?
I think this will be his last big gig, won't it, at the World Cup?
Yeah, 35 years. In fact, he'll be. It was June. He turned 35 in June, so
plenty of life left in him, is he?
He's not bad. Yeah, he's not bad at all. Had a good go at it, as they say. Celtic looking to come forward. Kyogo in these unfamiliar positions, because remember he's sort of playing kind of off the front, if you like, tonight. Giacomakis also plays, and that's a nice pass out from Matt O'Reilly just to try and get, is that Haksabanovic? Running at the fullback, but he's crowded out, and Shakhtar are not slow in getting men back, and it forces Celtic to come back the way. It's good possession from Celtic, but the gaps aren't.
They're well drilled.
They're not there yet, Mark. Celtic have done well. It's what you would call a good start to the match, but they've not managed to get in and get those chances yet. Is this the one? No, the cross is cut out from Haksabanovic.
Do you think the other games that Celtic have played, even the away ones, they've created clear-cut chances? A couple, by the way, by now, even against Real Madrid.
Have a look where the 2 centre-halves are. That's your 2 centre-halves.
Carter Vickers and Jens are midway in the Shakhtar half.
But,
incredible.
I know I keep saying about defending, but look at Shakhtar, where their strikers are, where their talented players are. They are 35 yards from their own goal.
Is that the faith that they can get forward quickly if they need to?
Believe me, they will. If Shakhtar break this press, they'll be up the other side.
And what a break of the press it is, because they boot it out of play for a Celtic throw-in. But they certainly try it. That was like an intricate reverse pass inside their own box. and it got them in a bit of trouble because they gave it away, but nothing too critical. And Juranovic is just going to throw one in from deep, which Giakoumakis does get a header too, but I mean, it's going to need to be something special. He's 12 yards out, he's moving away from goal.
He's not troubling the goalkeeper with that. I think, is it Juranovic? I think he's got better time to take that down the wide area and try
and just wait and do what they do. Wait for O'Reilly to come over or whoever it is.
But I think he's got to be positive. He had a bit of grass in behind it, could have easily tested their defence there.
Celtic's press is causing one or two jitters, but you can just see
how good
Shakhtar get out of it. Mudryk,
that's incredible.
I keep mentioning his name a lot tonight, and now this is real good territory from Shakhtar. They've got men over.
And I mean, football, I've said it before, football seems a whole lot different for even when I retired at this level. Even the top teams,
that's starting to dawn on you.
But didn't they play like that? And every team's playing like that now, that they're taking chances in their own 6-yard box to try and entice teams in and then get in behind them and open the game up. So it's better to watch. It's certainly more entertaining.
Slowed down since I played.
Ayr 2, Partick Thistle 1, Gordon in the Gordon Dalziel derby. Darren Brownlee own goal. Remember, you slaughtered him when we played golf in the summer.
Oh, is that Big Daz?
Imagine the treatment you'd give him after hearing
nice
that.
boy. No, I'd let him away with that.
I felt so sorry for that boy that day. Honestly, imagine stuck with him. A full golf day, and Gordon had his customary beer and a half. Please drink responsibly. And he doesn't
handle it well, does he?
Oh, what a pest he was.
Listen, I think the boy had a good day.
No, I honestly don't. I mean that.
Says to make him play again.
No.
What were you saying?
I heard them saying to him, you play with Partick. See, when I played against Partick Thistle, it was Alan Hansen I was up against.
He
was going. I overheard them saying to him, do you think you'll get a new contract? To be fair, at which point the boy replied, well, you won't get another manager's job, will you?
Oh, did he?
Had you on toast.
I would like to know how you know that when you weren't in our forward.
He knows everything.
Because do you know what? Curling effort for Celtic just wide. I've got news for you. That's how loud you are.
Absolutely no chance.
One fair way to the next is not enough to block you out, believe me.
I like to keep everybody up to date.
That's the closest Celtic have come. It wasn't.
That's a good effort.
It was close enough. It was a curler from Matt O'Reilly, edge of the box.
Nice play, good position, good pick out for Juranovic. I don't think
the goalie was too stressed about it, was he?
Seemed to know his angles, didn't he? But we've just seen Shakhtar play at ease there, and now they're on to Celtic's back four.
Just sort of bypass Celtic with a
one pass,
and the pace of Mudryk down the left. He cuts it back, and luckily for Celtic, it's cut back to Haksabanovic. When he sells that step over, Mark, as we said, over the first couple of yards, Juranovic is quick, but Mudryk's got to be one of these. He's about as explosive as you'll face, really, isn't he?
And that's difficult to defend against, because even if Juranovic knows he's going to do that, then it's hard to stop it. You just hope that somebody behind you is there to cover you.
Really intelligent spell there from Hattati. Just waited, sucked the defender in and passed it round him, then got the next one and moved it on. And now again, here comes Celtic. It's to Abada. Can he make something happen? He's going to surely pass it inside to Juranovic. He doesn't. He tries a sort of delicate pass, and then O'Reilly and Hattati's touch. It's just breaking down at the final minute.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a bit of Abada. I don't know if this level just looks a bit too much too soon for him. I think he's a terrific player, but he looks a different player at this level.
Do you know what I don't think helps him sometimes? Juranovic comes into a space where instead of just letting him go 1v1 with his pace.
See, I would differ slightly. Do you think Abada had any real belief at running at the fullback there?
Probably not, but I don't think Juranovic helps him by bringing another defender in. I think that definitely makes up his mind. I like the pace of this game. I like the game. I think both teams look very good indeed. The only thing I would say is 27. I can't remember a goalkeeper having a save.
Celtic have had better territory for sure, and better pressure, but nothing really doing in front of goal. Does Giakoumakis need to be a bit tidier, Mark? That's now a few I think he's sort of given away.
Well, the one certainly that he tries to step over,
I think he maybe just missed that latest one.
But of course, because he's in the team for a reason, obviously to score goals, but to help build up play, take it in, involve others. So it's not been a great start from him. I even think his header maybe has to take it on. It's a bit ambitious. So not an ideal situation for him. I must say, I do like Kyogo's position. I like the positions he's getting into. I think that looks good. And what's interesting about that is Ange Postecoglou never seemed to want to change anything. You know, we're never changing and we'll keep going. But he's tweaked it slightly tonight, but in an attacking way.
Brilliant from Joe Hart. He just comes and collects an easy ball, but throws it so quickly over the head of Juranovic. He allows him to play a bad it in. The cross is cut out, but again, he's offside anyway. The cross might have been cut out, Mark, but that was not a cross full of belief. From you can see it.
Yeah, you know, I think he makes a great run there. He is offside.
There's no need for him to be offside, though, is there?
No, and it's a good ball inside. I think I was going to say I think he tries to pick at Kyogo. He certainly doesn't. He tries to put that across and it's going wayward again. So he just needs to relax a bit. I know it's a big stage. He's a young man. He looks a different player from what he looks domestically, and that is belief, not ability. Just belief. You're right, Gordon. A couple of the crosses in that one there.
No such goal scoring difficulties between Benfica and Juve. Vlahovic did equalise for Juve, but Benfica have taken the lead straight away again. João Mario on 28 minutes. Foul on Lila Bada just inside the Celtic half. So 29 gone at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, Shakhtar 0. No chances to tell you about for either side. Performance level wise, it's just more of the same from Celtic. They are on top, they're pressing well, they're moving it well at times, but just can't quite find that breakthrough. The only thing that would probably diminish this slightly in comparison to the previous performances, Gordon, have not had that chance yet. They've not created it.
Yeah,
the sort of balance of play has been similar.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy with the way they've moved the ball about. Of course, they've just been
Greg
robbed.
Taylor gets robbed,
trouble.
and Carter Vickers has got some covering to do.
Oh, he's kidding himself right on.
What just?
Oh, seriously, I would sub him.
Priorities,
Yeah.
tried.
I mean, as if the number 2 is not bad enough.
Oh no, that's
He
why
looked
he's
like a number two. He did, didn't he?
I don't even understand what that. He's basically. He just passed the ball back to Joe Hart from about 30 yards. I don't even know if Joe Hart was off his line, or if
it seemed like
he was trying to lob it. He didn't even manage to get it above
off
the grass.
ground. That's a bit like you.
Yeah, I wasn't good at that.
Yeah, hitting the ball off the ground.
Oh, brilliant harrying from Giacomakis, and he's got himself a free kick right on the edge of the box, but wide in a sort of crossing area. He robbed Shakhtar. He put on a good press. He was driving towards the box, and he was brought down. It's our first booking of the day, and do you know what? It's one of those. It's probably a good booking for Matvienko because two steps further than Giacomakis is into the box.
Yeah. Great play with Giacomakis here.
Was he not a bit rattled by Celtic's press over there? I feel like he was the one that sticks out.
We were actually debating that whether it'd be Kyogo tonight because he presses better, and you're seeing what Giacomakis will put the work rate in. There's no doubt. I think every player in the green and white hoops will put the work rate in because that's what the manager
just wonder if
demands.
Celtic go for a bit of craft here. It's right on the edge of the box,
cut back,
kind of level with the 6-yard box though, so it's tough to get an aerial cross in from there.
A bit of pace on it.
Maybe just drill one or look for
many numbers are in there though.
Is that every Shakhtar player back? I think it is.
Yeah. And you want to fill that hole just at the edge of the 6-yard box where somebody usually comes round, but you choose to cross it.
Yeah, and it gets cleared.
A terrible
by
ball in.
Shakhtar.
That's too easy for me. I'm disappointed with it. I think that at that level you've got to come up with something better than that. I really do.
Well done, Matt O'Reilly. He's robbed Mudryk down the right hand side, and then he just throws it. Celtic throwing a bit too many hopeful crosses in, Mark.
Looks like that, and it's very unusual for them. Usually they'll work things down to the byline and they'll play nice little intricate passes. Even when you think it's on to cross, sometimes they don't. But tonight, you even seen Juranovic moments ago. One touch, he actually steps back and tries to throw in. Now I know Giacomakis is on, but that doesn't automatically mean you just throw hopeful balls in. It's not what Ange Postecoglou's team has been built on. But it must be an instruction, Gordon, because I can't see the players thinking, we're playing Shakhtar tonight, let's just randomly cross it in.
You're right, Gordon. That relationship between Taylor and Haksabanovic looks to be developing nicely. It was a good play down the left. Celtic still have it, but they've come back the way now to Carter Vickers.
Yeah, I think it's a very strong area of the pitch, and if you always watch it, the minute they two are linking up, Hatate goes right over and makes it a 3. He's brilliant. They must work on it in training. He's brilliant at it. You'll always see Hatate over on the left hand side when they two are on the ball. But look, it's been a good 0-0, let's say. I've enjoyed the tactical battle. The ball's been moved about. I think there's there's more to come in this game. I certainly don't think we're in for a 0-0. I think there'll be chances. I agree with Mark. I like the positions Kyogo's taken up. I think that could be something going forward for him.
Yeah, he's just got it back off Matt O'Reilly. Just again, it's the edge of the box. It's when the pass needs to be immaculate. It's not quite been, but he goes pressing, and there's 3 Celtic players, 4 almost pressing inside the box. And again, it's that man Mudryk. His touch is just very good. But Celtic once again have it. Lots of it's been decent from Celtic, Mark. They now need to take that next step, don't they?
They do, because I would even say their pressing's been good. They've won the ball back, but they find it hard to create that clear-cut chance that looked easy actually against Real Madrid in stages, and looked easy against Leipzig, and looked easy against Shakhtar away. Tonight it's been tougher.
I think they look disciplined, Mark. I think they look very well.
I was going to say, right, although Celtic are bottom of the group, 1 point, there's clearly a level of respect. And here's a chance into the box. It's blocked. Giacomakis, goal for Celtic. Celtic 1, Shakhtar 0. And it's Georgios Giacomakis, first time left-footed finish into the bottom corner. And with 34 minutes on the clock, Celtic 1, Shakhtar 0.
Well, it was great play. Firstly, I think it was Jens out to the wide guy Haksabanovic, and they work it well. Now, it's not the best cross in the world, but when you want a striker on form who reacts quick and knows where the back of the net is, you've got him with Giacomakis, a man in form. He's been untidy for the majority of this game, but when it matters, he's in the right place at the right time. It's Abada that has the first shot blocked, and Giacomakis the first to react.
No, what makes that goal for me? Abada's run.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that.
Absolutely brilliant run, and he causes problems. He comes in for the flanks. Look, every walk of life in games you need a little bit of luck somewhere, but when the luck comes to you, you've got to make sure you capitalise.
It's a great combination of both, isn't it? Because you only get that luck because of where Abada is. And we've seen it time and time again. We've seen it in Old Firm games. We saw it at Fir Park on last Wednesday night. When he comes in there, it causes chaos.
Yeah, and I've got to say one thing about him is his timing is brilliant. Fir Park timing was brilliant. How many times in his Celtic career, and we've been on to him a little bit tonight, that he's been caught up. He's a young lad, he's not experienced at this level, but his timing of that run, he's got that to perfection.
And there we are, Mark. In previous Champions League games, Celtic by now have had 4 chances, taken none. Tonight Celtic have had 1 chance and they've taken it. The performance has been good. It's not to say that as if they've not deserved it, but it was their first chance.
Yeah.
And that's important that you take it.
Exactly. I mean, football's weird. I think Celtic have played better in the other games. There's been nothing wrong with the performance tonight. I think they've been good and territory's been fine, but the other games have created more. But I argued that Giacomakis should have started through the middle, and that's why, because he's a man in form, and sometimes strikers in form don't really need to do much. They're lucky. They sometimes get lucky that the ball just falls to him in the right position and he's there to put it away. So
Celtic,
good decision.
I've got their tails up. They look like they want to press on and get a second. There was a foul on Greg Taylor, who did excellently well on the far side. This one, Haksabanovic, almost the exact same spot as he had earlier on in the game. That ball in was terrible. Can he do better this time? So it's out in front of that sort of Green Brigade section, if you like.
He's got plenty to aim for, because Celtic have got a lot of players in that box, so it's got to be a decent bit of quality, and he's got that.
Yeah, it's a bit better. I think it's going to go behind for a corner. I mean, it's not much better, but it's still got to got beyond the first man this time, Mark.
Yeah, I still think he's got to do better. Put that in between the back line and the goalkeeper, and just allow Giacomakis or Carter Vickers to attack it. He's went front post to goal, but they've got a corner here.
He's getting lots of set piece practice because he's still on them.
He can't hit the first man here again.
He's going to whip it in the corner. He does,
he can. He can.
He's played okay, has Haksabanovic, but his set piece delivery, Gordon's leaving a bit to be desired so far.
He'll be frustrated. I think his colleagues will be frustrated as well. But look, he'll keep plugging away at that. Left side, I think Celtic are very good, and I've got to say something. How good is the lad Taylor now? He's turned this around his Celtic career, because he came in for that little bit.
I'm lucky, because that would have been nice, but he just wasn't on the same wavelength on that occasion.
But Postecoglou's really up to his game. He's been terrific.
The thing as well, Mark, I'm not saying he wasn't before, but he looks physically capable. We saw him step in at international level. Now in the Champions League, he's clearly not the biggest, but he seems to be absolutely fine at holding his own.
Yeah.
Both sort of on the ball and when he's defending.
I think you can just see what confidence does to you. I've always been a fan of Taylor, but he was a bit of a whipping boy at times. But every passing game he looks more confident. He looks like a real leader. We've seen.
Oh, and fair play to Shakhtar, because the centre back pirouettes on his own goal line and gets away from Giakoumakis just when it looked like Celtic had turned the screw enough. Shakhtar go and wriggle their way out of it. Hatate plays a lovely ball out to Haksabanovic, and he's just nicked off his toe. O'Reilly still has it though. Curls another one, too easy though, right into the goalkeeper's hands.
Good play again. Good play. Not a good end product, but good play from Celtic.
Oh, here's the danger for Celtic, but I think they've got enough men in good areas.
I tell you, I'm starting to like the partnership with Carter Vickers and Jens at the back.
You've forgotten about Starfelt already?
No, I've not, because I was just going to bring him up. I would just wonder that he'll be looking now thinking, I've got a real fight in my hand, because that was the number one pairing. This two look like they're starting to form that partnership that all good teams have, especially at centre backs.
You regretting it yet, Mark? I think Robbie's apparently just dropped Rock DJ at the Hydro. It's what could have been.
Like I've seen him before. You know, the way this game's going, I'm quite happy with my decision.
Okay,
are you a proper Robbie Williams fan?
Oh, who isn't he?
Well, I mean, me?
Everybody's. You know, Robbie. Oh, come on.
Hold on. That's not. I've got nothing. Good effort from Giakoumakis. Very good strike from outside the box, and it's parried away for a corner.
You know what I was saying, steady there, because you could see him lining it up from about 35 yards, and I was thinking steady on here. But he does strike it well, catches it clean. It's a good save.
He's excited now because he's scored. Celtic take this one short, so they've spared.
They should have just put it back in.
That delivery's not great either. See, if that was Haksabanovic again, I'd be banning him from crossing it, but I don't think it was. Did he take the initial corner and then give it
short, didn't he?
We're seeing this strike again. He's listen, every right to take that on. Ask the goalkeeper a question. Good goalkeeping. He pushes it back for a corner kick.
The goalie just a bit conscious of the fact this game's getting beamed around Europe. Just wanted to make the cameras.
Would you hold that? If you're a goalkeeper, are you expecting your goal? See, I just think the modern day goalkeeper.
I'm not sure I'm the best barometer here.
You would never reached it.
Bit of a strange,
I would have been in.
They'd have put you in a string.
Bit of a strange question, but he embellished it, didn't he?
Yes, but goalkeepers are like that, and they're a funny lot. I've never liked goalkeepers in my management.
You don't really like anybody though, do you?
No, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't.
I was going to say, how was the halftime pizza? You're the only two guys that polish the halftime pizza before the game even kicks off.
Been delicious. Yeah,
you've done
it's
well.
Been good.
Unlucky for Celtic. The touch takes it into Shakhtar, and O'Reilly has to clear on the edge of the box.
Great position for O'Reilly there. Taylor has to go out and try and block the cross. Shakhtar look for the cut back, but O'Reilly, right place, right time. You can clearly see, right, that there's a change there, because O'Reilly was definitely the deepest midfielder in the last 4 games. But you can see him and Hatate defensively are playing a more square role, you know, which is a big leap from what Postecoglou's done in times gone by.
Juranovic does enough. He slides in. He doesn't get it, but Mudryk doesn't either. But the Ukrainian eventually comes out on top. That's given away to Hatate. And I just wonder if he forced the pass slightly, but Celtic do still have it. It's now out to Haksabanovic. 3 men in the box waiting for Celtic, but Haksabanovic has been doubled up on. Finds. No, he doesn't. I was going to say finds Greg Taylor with the back heel.
Thought he was a bit unlucky. What he was looking to do, I thought, was very clever, but unfortunately he's given away and given the opposition a little bit of a chance to counter. But
and it is, and Mudryk is in, and Joe Hart makes a brilliant save. It was the first chance. Is it a penalty? No, it's not. They'll probably check it again. No real claims though.
I can't believe the Shakhtar player's not claimed for that. No, it might not be, but
do you think that's a penalty kick?
No, it might not be.
But players claim for everything, don't they?
Oh, I think he was embarrassed.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, but Celtic undone there. You know, a wonderful save for Joe Hart, and they're lucky that I couldn't quite see who it was, but Shakhtar player was in the middle, just didn't quite read or anticipate that Hart might have saved it, otherwise he would have been in trouble.
Well, we saw how clinical Mudryk was over in Poland. That was an easier chance probably.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stick it away.
Another chance here for Shakhtar.
Yeah, just in a more crossing area. Flashed in front post. Going to be a corner to Shakhtar.
That all comes from the Haksabanovic
back heel.
All of a sudden, I said that all of a sudden they're on top. Joe Hart's there to make big saves at big time, and I'll tell you what, he covers the ground well there. but spreads himself well. Doesn't give
it's a great save.
Mudryk
Yeah.
too much space to put it away. But
we're just seeing the rerun of the alleged penalty incident.
I went down in one day when I was proposing quicker than that.
Well, we know that multiple
And
times.
let me tell you, I've been down a few knees.
Mudryk's delivery. That's a set piece delivery, Mark.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about
I
the
mean,
difference
terrific. Yeah,
at the other
Haksabanovic.
end.
And he's left-footed one, isn't he? As good. But he's just a quality player, this guy. You see the danger all night for the Celtic back lot. They have to stay switched
Can
on.
Celtic break this time? Because they have won it. Hatate goes down, and you'd have to imagine that's
a good foul to give away.
But I would always be wondering why that's not a booking now. It's not a bad challenge in terms of being a severe tackle on Hatate, but Mark, if that's not what they call stopping a promising attack,
He was away.
I don't really know what
It
what
opened
is.
up.
But anyway, Juranovic comes towards the end of the box, runs out of ideas and checks back. AC Milan are 1-0 up away to Dinamo Zagreb.
I mean, it's just breathless stuff. Even when, you know, there is a foul or a stoppage, both teams are really quick to play. I know Shakhtar went through that stage that they kind of try to slow things down, but it makes you tired watching this.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired, I must admit. Joe Hart's 40 yards from his own
an
goal.
excuse, you've been out all day. This guy's been sitting about doing nothing.
Well, listen, when am I ever sitting about? Always out doing things. In fact, I was going to say I guess who I seen today when I was out and about walking the dog, but
yeah, you had a
I've
real.
let you
I would say Matt O'Reilly. I'm not too sure, but I've gone for a Celtic player.
You had a
I should have done
real.
a guess who.
What's the word there? You had a real sort of
A moment of 10 years.
a crisis
or
of
so.
confidence when you saw Matt O'Reilly today, didn't you? When he walked out of his big West End apartment looking like a supermodel, got into his Porsche.
Yeah. And I had a dog lead wrapped around my ankles.
Your red
and thinking,
face, panting, sweating when you were walking up the hill.
Good luck in the Champions League.
Matt, I used to play in the Champions League, Matt. Have you ever heard of me?
I used to play. Look back the last time we won. Anyway,
I feel for you.
well, that's brings you back down to earth. Bit of pushing and shoving in there in the box. Jens just walking away though.
Yeah, getting a bit feisty in the penalty box.
See, the thing is with VAR now, you can't even get away with this now. I mean, corner kicks, me as a defender, I would always have a hold or a hand in the striker's shirt, and then when the ref looked, you know, enough of that, you would drop it but then grab it quickly again. VAR, you're done. Now you need to be so careful.
You seem like too nice a guy. Were you into the dark arts? Did you do the the sort of nipping the skin on the arm and that
I didn't
stuff?
like that. I didn't like that.
Celtic's set piece delivery has been
Woeful.
not great, but it comes back out and their
No,
shots from the
that's
box haven't been much better either. That one goes over the top.
But they'll be delighted to get in at half time.
Half time already, quick as that. Andrew McLean.
Yeah, Celtic 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0, the half-time score, and it's a Georgios Giacomakis goal that has the hosts halfway to their first Champions League win of the season. It's been an entertaining half. It hasn't been full of great chances, especially early in the half, but Celtic had a lot of the ball in the Shakhtar half. The visitors tried to cause problems on the break but haven't really created too much. The first opportunity went Celtic's way. Kyogo dropped deep and found Hatate with the pass, then Hatate onto Giacomakis at the edge of the box, but he fired over the bar. Maybe the pass out wide to Haksabanovic would have been the better option. Then a cross from Juranovic in the 23rd minute was headed comfortably wide by Giacomakis. Not long after that, Matt O'Reilly had a decent curling effort. That one went by the post. The signs were there though, and when they got their first real chance, they made the most of it. Sead Haksabanovic did well down the left. He drilled a low cross into the box. Lila Bada's shot was blocked, but it rolled kindly into the path of Giacomakis, who slid in and found the bottom corner for 1-0. The Greek striker went for a second from long range, a powerful shot that had to be saved by Anthony Trubin. But Shakhtar did force Joe Hart into a save just before the break. Mikhail Mudryk, he was played in behind one-on-one with the Celtic goalkeeper, but Hart, he rushed out quickly and stopped the effort well. It's been a real high-intensity affair so far. Ange Postecoglou's side on top though. The half-time score here at Celtic Park is Celtic 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
This is Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
So far so good for Celtic. It's Celtic 1, Shakhtar 0 at the break. Georgios Giacomakis' goal in the 34th minute. The difference between the sides, do they deserve their lead, Mark Wilson?
They certainly do. I think in terms of possession and territory, they've worked it well into good areas. Maybe not created as many clear-cut chances as they have in the previous games, but when one clear-cut one came along, the man who, it was a big decision over whether you start him or Kyogo through the middle. Ange Postecoglou went for Giacomakis, and he's there to put it away. Defensively, they've been sound, I think. Apart from that one, they got opened up. But Joe Hart, a top goal he is, makes a save at an important time, and it's all going to plan so far for Ange Postecoglou's side.
Yeah, the manager will be delighted, Gordon. There's no doubt. They got off to a terrific start, but we were waiting for those usual chances and maybe a big talking point again, not capitalising on them. But when the one came along, Giacomakis was there and they certainly took advantage of it. I go back to Abada's run was brilliant, causes panic in the defence. Just falls to the striker who's on form just now. Right place, right time, and he was making no mistake whatsoever. Yes, they deserved their 1-0 lead going into after the first half, but second half, I still think there are more goals here. But they need to be careful because that team has got a bit of quality that can open you up at any time.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, stylistically, it's been the same really as all the other Champions League games. Celtic do what they do. They press from the front. They try and break quickly. Inevitably, good teams will break against them. The main difference tonight has actually been that they've created less, but scored the one big chance that's come along.
Well, that's an important thing at this level, and we've spoke about it for the previous 4 games. We keep battering on that it's about taking your chances at this level when you create them. Now it's just funny that against probably the poorest side in the group at home that you create as fewer chances in any other game, but it falls to you at the right time and a man in form, and that's a big thing. So it gives you then something to hold on to, something to build on, whether Celtic have been chasing always before. I wonder though how much of that's actually down to, Celtic are bottom of the group on 1 point, but the performance level, and over there in Shakhtar's shown them quite a lot of respect. How often in the past would Celtic be properly pinning a Champions League team in where every single player is behind the ball? So maybe in that regard that's why Celtic have created less, because Shakhtar have put in more effort at stopping them than the other teams have. Harder to play through. I mentioned it during the first half that you looked at the 2 Shakhtar front players and they were 35 yards from their own goal. Now, don't care how good you are, it's hard to play against that. And Shakhtar showed when they've played Real Madrid that that's the approach they took, and look how hard those players found it to get through. But if you invite teams on in the Champions League group stage, they will invariably score. Now Celtic's no different. If you keep inviting Celtic onto you, they will break you down. And Ange Postecoglou will be delighted that they've got their noses in front. Now I know they did that against Shakhtar away and they didn't hold on to it until half time, but this is different. They've managed to hold on to it comfortably, even though Shakhtar did have a chance, but comfortably. And again, I'll go back to it, gives them something to build on in the second half. And I'm with that. I think there's more goals in this game for Celtic. Yeah, and the one moment that has separated the sides, Gordon, it's a clinical finish from Giacomakis. Celtic have missed chances exactly like that in previous games, maybe even some easier ones, who knows. Yeah, no surprise it'll come down the left hand side. I think they've got a good partnership with Taylor, Haksabanovic. I keep talking about Hatate goes over and joins it, makes it a 3 and does overloads, but Taylor puts a ball in, and it's all about Abada's run. Wingers have the tendency to stand out and wait for something coming in at the back post. Abada's completely different. He always attacks the space in the box. He goes with pace, and the minute that happens, it causes panic in the defence. Giacomakis, was standing there. I know it was easy for me to say there, Matt, just the way you looked at me, but he's standing there. The ball falls absolutely brilliant for him, and he makes no mistake whatsoever. They deserve it. Have they created the chances that they normally do? No, but the most important thing is
where the ball ends up in the back of net, 1-0. They've got to build on it now for me.
What does Celtic need to do better, Mark? We've spoke about a couple of set piece deliveries that haven't been very good.
Yeah, they've been appalling tonight, let's be honest. And when you create, you get in these areas and you've got good opportunity to get your bigger players into the box, and the set piece delivery has to be on the money, and Haksabanovic has been way off it in that respect. In open play though, he's been good, he's caused problems. What could they do better? Probably just tidy things up. I think there's been a few opportunities that they've pressed well, and Shakhtar have rushed the pass and Celtic have intercepted it. I can remember a Riley, I can remember a Hatate a few times with first time passes. They tidy those little bits up, they will get more clear cut opportunities. But for a team coming up against a team who has packed their penalty box when Celtic have had it, or packed round about their penalty box, they've been patient still, Celtic. And even a Riley shot just over the bar, or just past the post, should I say, they've worked it into good areas. So it's encouraging stuff, especially when you think about it. It's a change of shape. Kyogo in that number 10 role is different.
I think you can always pick holes in every performance. Where I think the only thing for me would be the set plays. I think they need a bit more quality. If they get quality, puts their defence under a bit of pressure, and they can capitalise on that. So for me, set plays
is going to plan so far. Celtic are 1 goal up at home to Shakhtar Donetsk, and the second half is next.
This is Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We are back underway at Celtic Park after the break. Of course, still Celtic 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0. No changes at the break. Celtic starting on the front foot, actually. Some good territory again at the start of the second half. Just a brief moment of concern, Mark. At the end of the first half, when Reo Hatate was going down the tunnel, he went over on his ankle, just walking down the tunnel, and then started limping away towards the dressing room. But he's back out now, and for the meantime, he's fine.
Yeah, because those can be sore ones, innocuous, just your pure bad luck. But he's maybe lucky that he's had time to treat it, and he's probably kept it going through half time, and he's back in the pitch, because he would be a huge loss. Imagine taking Hatate out of this midfield. I know Moy's done okay in recent weeks, but Hatate's a top player.
In the first minute of the second half, Gordon had another brilliant pass out wide. He's been central to everything Celtic have done.
Yeah, he looks like no effects whatsoever, Gordon. He looks back to his normal self. Celtic just starting the second half the same as the first, try to press very high up the pitch, try to play a good pace. Second goal, next goal in this game, so important. Celtic, if they're really going to go and get their 3 points tonight, really need to be the ones that get the second goal and put this game to bed for me.
This is a novelty for Ange Postecoglou and these Celtic fans, Mark. They've played 4 now into their 5th Champions League game. They've never made it to the 47th minute without making a sub.
Right, okay.
Ange Postecoglou has either rolled the dice at half time on a few occasions, or Callum McGregor went off injured, Abada went off injured, didn't he, in the last one?
Haksabanovic away, I'm sure, at Shakhtar. Yeah,
they've never made it to 47 minutes without making a sub until tonight. Don't get me wrong, it's not my best stat ever. I think you'll sleep fine without it. But
again, it tells a story, because it sort of unsettles things. You pick a starting 11 for a reason,
or it shows that he likes to roll the dice and mix something up. The difference tonight is they're winning, of course.
They're winning, and they don't need to force anything. And I think he'll be quite happy with how they've played in that first 45. Like we said, the only real moment of danger, Joe Hart was called into action, but apart from that, Celtic have controlled large parts of this game.
Let me remind you, if you've not caught up with our bizarre schedule and you think, what on earth are these 3 dafties doing on at this time of night, we do stay on until 11 o'clock for the so-called late games involving Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League. So as soon as this one finishes, get your calls in, Celtic fans, win, lose or draw, and let us know what you made of it, and we'll do the same tomorrow night, Rangers fans. Now, Celtic just gave away cheap possession. It was Giakoumakis didn't look after it, and it allows Shakhtar to come forward, but it's not bad defending at all. Celtic have defended well when they've had to.
Got good numbers back there, and snuffed out that opportunity, because it was a decent little reverse pass, but
it's surely going to be a booking.
Yeah, that's great striker play for me. He takes it in.
Giakoumakis.
Brilliant. He takes it in, gets his team up the park, rolls the defender, knows where the defender is, great for touch. The defender's no chance of getting that ball.
Oh, tell you what,
He's got a good grip.
he might not get the match ball.
Yeah,
but he was having a good go.
He's got a fair handful, but I've got to say, I've got to say, as a striker, that's good play.
Just a yellow for that. Ooh.
I know, that's got a heart.
That may be Berberton, but he'll get on with it. He's a big lad.
I see.
That's enough about that. Thank you. Celtic 1, Shakhtar 0 into the second half. 5 minutes gone. There was a late goal in the first half, by the way, for Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr. pulled one back. They're still 2-1 down away to RB Leipzig. So Celtic's group's been strange at times.
I was going to say, what's the ideal result for Celtic there? Real Madrid obviously win and put out a second string side next week.
You know, win the group. And,
I wouldn't put it past them. I know Leipzig.
I think they'll need to concentrate on this tonight, Mark, because
the speed of this well done, Juranovic.
Tell you what, Juranovic's defending there was top class.
Gets his angle right, doesn't he? Because he doesn't have to race Mudryk in a straight line there. He just has to cut off the angle.
That was all about getting your body position right. And he was right on the money.
What he couldn't allow was a ball inside him. I think he cut enough of it off to make him favourite for that. He does incredibly well. I mean, really quick, Juranovic, but Mudryk. Oh,
he's quick, isn't he?
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare on this big pitch when often he's left 1v1 against him. That's the thing. You know, it's not a stuffy Celtic team that you've got a guy 5 yards away for you to help you. This is he's just left in the open. 60 yards to race him. And here they come again, Shakhtar, just grown into the second half.
Yeah, you don't want Mudryk to have that much space near the edge of the box. He's got a bit of it, and luckily his passing there wasn't as good as his sprinting. Giacomakis goes down. Referee's not interested this time.
No, he says he got the ball. I thought he did win a foul, but I think it was the right call. I don't think it was the best ball from Greg Taylor. He tries to fish it in, a bit of a straight ball. It's always hard for a striker. He's not got really any support around him there.
Yeah, good covering. Juranovic over on the right, out for a throw in about midway inside the Celtic half.
You wonder how this second half will pan out, because even though Celtic are 1 up, they've still put the same effort in pressing and getting bodies forward into the box. You wonder if they will tire, like it's happened in previous games. They have a wee probably 15-20 minutes of tiring, and then changes come in and they get refreshed.
Pretty certain
will be changes.
You will see Forrest, you will see Maeda, you'll probably see Moy.
Yeah, and rightly so, because you can't ask your players to play at this tempo for the 90 plus minutes. Just especially your middle to front, because they're the ones that really are putting the graft in. The defenders, they've just got to make sure their lines are correct and they don't let anything cheap go between them. But I go back to a point you made, Gordon, without trying to jinx Celtic. I think their defending tonight's been very good indeed.
That's brilliant from Celtic. Jens into O'Reilly, back to Carter Vickers, into Hatate. Good play, good composed play when they were being pressed. And now Shakhtar have backed off and they've worked out to Abada.
I don't know what he's trying to do there, but he's got the ball again, is he?
I do wonder if that'll be the first change.
I know he does.
Forrest. I know he does well for the goal, but you just wonder if you need more from him, because a lot of the play's going down his side and it's bouncing off him and he's ricocheting off his knees. Sometimes just not your night.
The thing about Celtic's changes, and I think Shakhtar get a free kick in their own box.
I think he slipped. No, he did slip.
It's no surprise, Gordon. Ange Postecoglou has made 4 or 5 changes in every single game Celtic have played this season, bar one, where he only made the 3. Right? But apart from that, it's 4 or 5 every single game. So, and that's not always even at this level where you're having to put in this amount of work. So it's guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the not too distant future.
100%. And what you might see is not just one at a time. He might make
make some batches.
And he really freshens up, because it's like he'll look at players and think, right, they've ran their race. Time to get some fresh legs on there, get some more energy. Hatate there trying to get back.
It's a great tackle, but it's a break of the ball for Shakhtar.
He's a number 2.
And I'll tell you what, the shot from the edge of the box was so bad that it almost turned into a pass and Shakhtar nearly scored. That was incredible. Dragged way across Joe Hart's goal, and then the winger nearly comes in at the back post and ends up hitting the side net, and so a let off for Celtic in the end. But you would have been hard done by if that ends up in the net, Mark.
I don't know. You think?
I
think he's got to score there. I know the angle's tight, but the shot, skewed wide. A dreadful effort from the Shakhtar forward, but it falls kindly, and they should put that away. So
Shakhtar are going to be the first team to make changes. They're readying some subs. I think they were going to do that anyway, but Mudryk has taken a sore one. It's a clean tackle from Matt O'Reilly. I think he actually, when Mudryk then falls, he slides in to Carter Vickers. I think he's just winded. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he will be, Gordon. But I agree with Mark. I think that the lad should score at the back post there. I think that's a terrific opportunity from what I've got to say is one of the worst shots I've seen at Celtic Park for a long, long time.
Just a bit of a lull then. Did Shakhtar end up making that change? I'm not sure if they have yet. They were certainly about to. I don't think it was in relation to Mudryk going down with that knock to the stomach. I mean, he's still
I'd be surprised if he goes off.
He's not coming off.
He's the main danger man.
He's surely got a six pack, let's be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Think so.
I know he collided with the shin
play,
of
Kyogo.
Yeah, he just overrun it. I thought he
got clipped here.
That's going to be a booking surely then, no?
Well, you would think so. He's away. He does great to take it in the middle of the park and turn away.
Stepanenko, who you'll remember playing against Scotland in those recent matches.
Yeah, that's what you get from playing Kyogo in there. Someone that can take the ball back to goal, who's clever, can turn, and then he's off. There's no passing it sideways or thinking about going backwards.
Yeah, we've had
fairly positive.
A few bookings then in this game so far.
I've liked Kyogo in there, Mark. I think he's
looks good.
He's brought a bit of energy, good bit of movement, and the minute he gets the ball, he just wants to get at their back man.
I wonder if Ange Postecoglou think about this domestically.
100%.
Because you're having to pick one or the other.
Well,
I have
that's
to
a
say,
surprise.
the number 2 striker, Lassina Traore, has gone off.
Yeah,
he's been very poor, Mark, and that's probably an understatement.
That's been kind to him. I think he's been miles off it ever since he tried to lob Joe Hart in the first half
and didn't get it off the
grass from 40 yards.
So that's it. Shakhtar's third booking of the evening, both centre halves and their midfield enforcer. So if Celtic can keep breaking centrally at pace, you just never know. Matt O'Reilly's got a free kick. It's a bit of an awkward one. It's too far to shoot, but it's quite central, and he just tries to curl one delicately. It doesn't really reach a teammate, but it's still bobbling around there if Celtic can get a foot on it. Hatate, decent composure I was going to say, but it ends up with Shakhtar. Here goes Mudryk. He's going to be 1-on-1. He's racing towards the edge of the box, gets his shot off, and what a finish that is. Celtic 1, Shakhtar 1. It is stunning from Mykhailo Mudryk. Mark Wilson, you can always pick holes in it from a Celtic perspective, but that is sensational.
Let's give credit to Mudryk, because we've been on about him all night, how he moves across the ground and how quick he is and how direct. Well, he just showed it there. It was a Celtic free kick. Shakhtar won it back, and look how quickly one side to the other they get it to Mudryk. I think Juranovic does well to show him inside, and you think the danger's gone, and the middle of the box he unleashes it, from 19 yards into the roof of the net. What a finish that is.
I don't think you can pick holes in that for Celtic.
It's actually not that bad, is it?
I think you've just got to say well done, that, because I was looking at him thinking, square the ball, you've got a runner, you've got people coming in there.
The finish is unbelievable.
He just Joe Hart doesn't expect he's even going to hit that.
I know.
That is top class.
I mean, the goal is sensational, because as soon as it breaks to him, you think danger. But then I think Juranovic has done well to slow him down and show him inside. And if you're Carter Vickers and Jens, you're thinking, well, go ahead, go and have a shot from there, because there's not much space in between them. But to execute it like that is unbelievable.
Because Celtic ended up with numbers back, Gordon. Mudryk is facing 3 Celtic players at the edge of the box. Look, there's never a goal without fault, because the defending team always has to take some blame. But you're not getting caught out with that too often, are you?
I just think that's individual brilliance, Gordon. I really do. I think that is top quality. Everybody can argue about we should have done. Mark's right. You show him inside, he's still got a lot to do, and you're basically thinking you've got to be special to beat Joe Hart from there. My word.
If we're looking at blame, which
I'll tell you what though, it's a nice step over just to set Shakhtar away, and they're looking confident all of a sudden. They're back in this game, it's level.
yeah, they're looking dangerous now. But if we're looking at blame, I guess which every team will, because you'll assess a goal, you'll take it all the way back to the set piece,
edge of the box,
and then keeping it alive. You know, keeping Shakhtar under pressure, bit of quality, putting your foot in the ball, and it was too rushed, and they left themselves open to that counter-attack.
I wondered if at the very, very first move of the counter, Carter Vickers was close enough to take one for the team.
Yeah.
But when I saw it from behind him, it happens very quickly, and I'm not sure if he was, but we'd be quite keen to see that again, because that was devastating.
Yeah, I can take all that on board, but when it gets to Mudryk, I just think it's a piece of brilliance. I think Celtic have been undone by an absolute piece of brilliance.
Yeah, it's a top player right at the top of his game, isn't it, Mark? Apart from our teams have been up against established brilliant players over the years. You played many of them, and there's been some great performances, but in terms of sort of up and coming potential next big things for club and country, I've been really impressed with this guy over the last few months.
He's a standout, because a couple of months ago, I must admit, I never really heard him. You know, you heard rumours maybe Arsenal were interested, but I never really seen him. And then all of a sudden we see so much of him for club and country, and every time he's impressed me. I mean, a player that is as direct as that and
has the quality,
at the end. That's the thing. You usually get one or the other, you know, blistering pace, but it's erratic at the end. He's got it all, and he'll probably be disappointed he didn't score in the first half as well when he went through.
Yeah.
But that's as good as you'll see in the Champions League this week, that finish.
He's human. He's just cut in and gave the ball away very cheaply, and now here comes Celtic and Kyogo, and he's up against
crowded out
4 or 5 Shakhtar defenders.
I don't think
it looks like it's
him.
taking a little bit of the
Celtic
the
have gone a bit,
out
haven't they?
Yeah, just out of Celtic just now, but they can regroup and gather as long as they don't give anything away.
There is no difference for the other games in terms of that. You know, the legs do look a wee bit tired at this period, and if you take it back to every other game in the Champions League is always around the same time. There's a bit of tiredness and they end up conceding. It can't be a coincidence. You know, there's got to be something in that. Now, whether you look at it and go, should Celtic have made changes? I don't think any would have thought that before that blistering goal, but the goal has affected the flow of the game from a Celtic point of view. They've got a chance here. Hatate's got a bit of time to settle on the ball, and maybe that's what they need. Just a couple of minutes just to pass it and feel their way back into it. Yeah, that 60 to 75 minute period has been a real problem for Celtic in every game apart from Shakhtar away, where it was level at the break, and it stayed that way, but in every other game.
And here they come, the treble.
James Forrest, Aaron Moy, Dalziel Maida all coming on. We knew it would happen, and there you go.
They do need a bit of life, don't they, just now? They do need somebody to inject a wee bit of energy.
Pace just to lift it.
Both wingers and
midfield player
Kyogo or Hatate or
chance here.
Yeah, Celtic are in. It's Kyogo, but he takes it far too early. Hatate edge of the box. That's a massive chance for Celtic, and it just looked a bit rushed from Kyogo. It was so tame. The keeper ended up Matt O'Reilly, the decision making from the edge of the box, Gordon. Too many crazy shots from outside the box. I
looked at Kyogo there, and I looked at a player that didn't believe he could score her. I can't. He's timing the run's perfect, but I have no idea what his end product
was. So rushed, Mark, which can be good. You know, you take it early and catch the keeper,
but just looked like there was a lack of belief.
Can't miss. This is what we've seen from Celtic. You probably can't pass up those chances at this level.
Well, that's a big moment in the game. You know, you've just conceded and you're looking a wee bit ropey, a wee bit tired, and you get a glaring opportunity like that. Now you put that away, the full momentum swings back to you, and the game's different.
Massive chance. Kyogo again, he is about 12 yards out. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and he completely scuffs it right at the goalie. Really disappointing finish.
He needed composure. He didn't have composure. It's a great run. Let's give him credit for the run.
Well played, Giakoumakis.
Great ball in. Everything's there for him, and I think he rushes it and he gets it off the heel of his boot, and it looks terrible.
Celtic's compilation of missed chances at the end of this group stage is going to be quite something. Mark Wilson,
bring a DVD about it. What could have been?
Kyogo's now just tried to float one in, and it was not a bad idea from Giakoumakis. Goes to chest it into the path of Abada.
I think Abada again just has to hold his run.
Well, he's about to go off, isn't he, for Forrest, you would imagine?
Yeah, you would think so. I think and I hate being harsh on Abada because he's been great since he came to Celtic, but his only positive involvement really is the goal where he runs across the face and he causes confusion and they get the goal for Giakoumakis. Apart from that, I think most of his game tonight has been a bit poor.
Celtic just look a little bit nervy. More than a bit nervy. Craig Taylor does extremely well, and then he sort of panics and hacks it up the line and it goes out for a throw-in. It's getting nervy for Celtic now. 64 gone, Celtic 1, Shakhtar 1. Triple change then. First one up is Georgios Giakoumakis off.
Haksabanovic.
Oh, sorry.
No, he's 7.
No. Yeah, my apologies. Haksabanovic off for Maeda. So like for like on that left-hand side.
I'll be Abada, and then your pick of the midfield. I'll not be O'Reilly.
Or could it be Kyogo though, because of where he's where he's playing?
Kyogo or Hatate.
So and it is Kyogo. That missed chance, you can see he's got his head in his hands as he goes off. Mark, he's been a brilliant player for Celtic. Celtic fans love him. He has missed a lot of chances this season.
He has. I'm going to cut him a bit of slack tonight though. I would have kept Kyogo on. I liked the way he was playing. I liked the positions he was taking up, and the only bit of composure he's lacked is that chance there. So like Ange Postecoglou likes Moy coming on at this stage. You can see Kyogo is disappointed on the bench here, but they need a bit of energy now. You know, and these three certainly have to drag them through.
I'm going to go with you in that one for an extra 10-15 minutes. I think Kyogo,
he's gutted, huh?
Yeah, he was making great runs. Look, his finish is terrible. He'll know that, and you can see by his face sitting in that dugout, he knows he's missed a terrific opportunity to put his side in front. But I just think he still had that energy in him, Gordon. The two wide men would bring them something different.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was coming off, wasn't he? Anyway, before he missed that chance.
Yeah. So I suppose that doesn't factor into Postecoglou's thinking, but it's a brave decision. We said that to play both of them, and him particularly in that hole. I think even defensively he was fine.
I've liked it, Mark. I don't think it's weakened Celtic. They've been outdone by a terrific finish. You know, they've had one opportunity in the first half, 1-1 in Hart. Kyogo's had 1-1 in the goalkeeper, so it's pretty equal, a goal each. But
Celtic still had the better of the play, haven't they?
Yeah. That's where the disappointing factor comes in a little bit.
Well, a big moment for James Forrest, who many people thought, and myself included, thought he should have started. I don't think he can be much worse than Abada tonight. I don't want to be harsh on Abada, like I keep saying, but James Forrest has played at this level. Did he even score against Shakhtar before my memory served me right in a Champions League?
He certainly scored. That was Shakhtar Karagandhi.
Oh, was that a different Shakhtar?
Different Shakhtar.
It's too many Shakhtar.
Karagandhi one.
Just the one to get them to the group stages.
That's right. That was Forrest in the last minute, was it?
He may have played Shakhtar Donetsk before.
I think he would have done. Would have.
But it's definitely Karagandhi you're thinking of. I was there working. I remember it well.
Well, knows his Shakhtars, knows how to score against Shakhtar.
I thought you meant Gordon. I thought Gordon knows his Shakhtars.
Yeah, I've seen a few in my time. It's a real miscue from Shakhtar, and almost sliced the clearance back towards their own goal. Had to be hacked out for a throw-in.
And this is where Celtic have got to keep the pace up. I know it says maybe feel their way back into it, but they've made the 3 changes now. You've got to think that's still all gone. Now we need to press on, because Shakhtar will be quite happy with a draw here come to Celtic Park. Celtic are the ones that have to win it.
And also it'll need to be different as Matt O'Reilly flicks a header, but it was always going to be.
I had time there.
Yeah, it was always going to be tough. And I suppose in any of the games, as good as Celtic have been, they've never really finished strong, Mark.
No,
it's always been a strong start, and it's maybe sort of petered out, and they've still had chances late, but this will be the first one where they're going to need to really finish this game strong.
Well, probably the only exception being Shakhtar away, where remember they had a couple of chances at the with Maeda's overhead kick and things like that, but the other games they've probably been gone, so it's been
hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. This one they do need to finish strong. Now, I was lucky enough when it was my time here, the team I played in always finished strong in these games, and quite often would grab something at the end. That's a terrific ball.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Celtic. There's an incident at the edge of the box, but Maeda's in and he squares it. Somehow that goes by for a corner. I thought that had found a hole in the goal net because it was so close.
What's happened in the middle of the box?
Yeah, Giakoumakis feels he was wiped out at the edge of the box. We'll just see it again. cut to Maeda. I don't know if there's going to be enough in that at the edge of the box. There's a coming together, but
Maeda, by the way, we have a go at Maeda sometimes for being a bit rash and flashing things across. He did well, composed, cut back, and it's just unlucky it comes off the defender and inches wide.
I'm not sure what sort of check this would be, because it was possibly even outside the box. Not sure I'd get another look at it. Giacomakis is holding his face.
He's not got to get anything. May as well just go on with it.
The corner's going to be taken.
Let's see if Moy can put a bit of quality in there.
That was a big chance that for Celtic. Moy's ball is much better, but it's a bit close to the goalie. And then Hatate's second ball is not great, and this is exactly where Celtic gave it away for the goal. But luckily this time no Shakhtar players are up the pitch. PSG have scored a fifth against Maccabi Haifa. What a game though, 5-2. Kylian Mbappe has got in on the act. His pals Neymar and Messi have already been there.
I mean, not a bad front line that. You've got to fancy them to get to the latter stages.
We always say that.
I know, but I think Messi's settled into the fold a bit better now. They're a wee bit
can defend
for themselves. They all like going forward, don't they?
Poor at the back.
Get in the box.
They're a good five-a-side team. Down the pitch they would be good in the five-a-sides.
They did get to the 2020 final though, didn't they? Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Bayern Munich beating them yet.
Celtic still trying to probe, and they get a throw in just maybe midway inside the opposing half. So it's better again from Celtic. Again, they've definitely been the slightly better of the sides, the dominant team, but the all-important scoreline, it's 1-1 at the moment, and you could easily envisage another Shakhtar goal, Gordon, as much as another Celtic one.
Well, they've showed us they've got the quality, and they really need to go for it as well.
Here goes Mudryk, and he's in.
It's a 2v1 as well.
It's a 2v1. Joe Hart comes out, it's squared.
You missed that.
It's one of the biggest sitters you'll ever see.
Oh my God, how did they miss that? The let-off
of all let-offs for Celtic. Mudryk raced clear. He skipped by Carter Vickers, who tried to take him out. He squared it, and I don't even know if it was a shot. I think that was a first touch.
It was.
Well, listen, we can bang on all day about Celtic missing chances. That is, believe me when I say Sitter does not cover that from Shakhtar. It is an open goal, a couple of yards out, and it dribbles wide of the post. Awful striking play.
Can I put up a defence for him?
No, absolutely none.
It's the poor sub that's come on, and
look
at him.
He's nearly crying. He's just come on as sub
back off.
And
that's horrendous.
He will not sleep for weeks. Yeah. Do you know something? He's
Van Vossen tonight, Rosenthal, all those horrendous misses that you've seen throughout the years. This is worse for me.
He panics, Mark.
This is worse.
The Celtic fans are celebrating that miss. It's galvanised the Celtic fans. Mudryk might even have got injured.
Here it is again. It's incredible.
He squared across. It's a touch. It's not a shot. He actually is trying to control the ball, and the touch is so heavy it dribbles past the post, but he thinks it might be going in at first, so he doesn't slide. He's watching it go past.
I hate laughing, but why is he, when he's took a horrendous touch, why is he then stopped and thought, because this might be going in?
I think he thinks it might go in.
You can clearly see the ball's curving away though. Look at the manager.
The manager looks like he's going to run on and drag him off.
I'll tell you, that'll be the worst journey ever back home if they don't win this game.
Well, even if they get something at this game, that'll haunt the boy for the rest of his career, because those moments don't happen often.
Incredible.
I feel for the boy. I really do. I've never been in that position, but I feel for him. I don't think it's a nice position to be in.
No.
As if you're a Celtic fan.
How that compares to some of the worst miss you've ever seen. It would be up there, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm thinking
recency bias here?
Well, no, Van Vossen and Rosenthal, remember all the years ago, he's run the goalkeeper, he puts off the bar. I think that's worse. The goalkeeper's out the equation. The goal is wide. He then hits it, but he's got a chance to go in and put it in. So he misses that. The fact that they keep on showing it again tells you how bad it is.
Oh, it's just the heaviest touch you'll ever see.
But you can still run after and tap it. He freezes.
It's just a head loss.
He does look a young lad.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's a shame. I don't think the Celtic fans will be feeling quite so sympathetic.
No, not at all. They were delighted, but the lad he froze. You can't look. You can't. However, but they're looking dangerous now.
Yeah, here they come on the break again, and you never know. He might have the last laugh because if he gets another, here's Mudryk, exact same position as the goal. It's a good touch that from Maeda, and his countryman Hatate picks him out. Here goes Maeda. He's just touch isn't good, but it goes to.
It's where they've got to get bodies forward. Yeah, it's a chance for Celtic to get bodies forward.
Shifts it to Hatate. It's just overdone. It's just overdone at the edge of the box, and this could be yet again another counter. Celtic, it really is, and they're almost in, but it's a good clearance.
I think this boy could get subbed
from Moritz Jens.
I think he could get subbed.
He's devastated.
He's looking for a spade, and he's starting to dig a hole to hide himself. They're not sitting there looking for a 1-1. They're going for the 3 points. I think
they can still finish second in the group.
Yeah, so they're going to go for it, which I think helps Celtic a lot.
Here's Matt O'Reilly, edge of the box. It's a decent effort. It's parried away for a corner. I'm not sure. He
goalkeeper makes this spectacular. He's wanting to be a YouTube sensation. This boy.
Yeah.
You know.
He makes a melee.
That's just
good for Celtic because it results in a corner. But good play again, Hatate.
Only good if Celtic's corners get better than they have been.
Yeah, good
for the first 75 minutes, and maybe this is the one. It's Aaron Moy. It's all right, but it's not going to cause any problems. And all of a sudden, it's back with Juranovic in the centre circle.
Well, the biggest danger is to Celtic is when they're attacking, because this boy Mudryk is that quick that it's one side to the other in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, and every time you think he's injured and he's about to go off, he regenerates and he stays on. Mark, he's a powerful athlete, and he seems to be able to shake off quite a bit.
Not an enjoyable player to play against, that's for sure. I mean, Juranovic, we keep saying it, is quick. And was it Carter Vickers or Jens that tries to make the challenge in that last
Carter
one?
Vickers.
I mean, no slouch either.
I thought Carter Vickers was getting there all day long, and then the touch came, and
I think Mudryk was just waiting for him, and then he pressed the accelerating button,
just like you in the Passat back in the day. Drop it in a second and
just go away at the lights and just smile.
It's finished.
That was the only noise it made. It was me inside the car.
It's finished in the Championship. Ayr 4, Partick Thistle 2. Terrific game of football there. This is a good one as well at Celtic Park. It's not as high scoring, it must be said, but it is end-to-end and it is breathless. I wonder if we get one more. What's left for Celtic attacking wise? I mean,
I think there's a goal in the game.
No, I meant changes.
Changes.
David Turnbull.
I'm just trying to think who
would. A great deal else is there. Forrest with the cross.
It's a good ball.
It's not bad, you know.
I think is it Maeda or Moy? Just get across the front there. You know,
maybe Forrest it was Moy. Sorry,
Forrest as well there.
Shaved head is confusing me.
I think it's a decent ball.
That's the problem. Hatate tries to be quite cute. It doesn't work out, and Greg Taylor's in that inverted position. But for the first time in a while,
Mudryk has lost it. A bit tired there.
Don't you dare, because you know what'll happen the next time he breaks. But I was about to agree with you.
Well, it's not like him, because everything else he's done tonight's been impeccable.
That's a tired pass from Matt O'Reilly. That's very poor. Celtic have the ball though. Shakhtar fell.
Free kick. Was it?
No, referee's let it go. So Celtic need to move this quick. Shakhtar's got a man down and they've been a bit laboursome there. But I just think
it's all a bit sluggish now, isn't it?
We'll get another clear-cut chance in the game.
Mark,
which side it's going to go?
7 minutes on the clock. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, but it's all looking a bit sluggish.
See this goalkeeper? He's annoying the life out of me.
Well, not the best from Moy there.
Moy's tried that a couple of times. That first time sort of flick with the outside of the boot, Mark, when he could maybe just
take it in,
control it.
I mean, at this level, you're in the box. Your players have worked that hard to get you in that position. Take it in, be secure, move on.
Celtic guilty of being a bit intricate when it gets to the edge of the box, and then as soon as it comes out the way, it's all. And look at this, it's all the space in the world for Shakhtar. Greg Taylor's scrambling to get back, but Shakhtar are in the box. And luckily there are no takers, because I think both teams are knackered here.
Yeah, there's only one Shakhtar player in the box here.
Both teams look spent.
There's a goal here, there's a winner. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Don't ask me who for, but there's a winner.
Well, you just can't play at this tempo, both teams, for 90 minutes and expect to last. But that's what's making it enthralling for us to watch, because there is mistakes from both teams that may lead to that winner that Daz is talking about. I just don't know who it's going to be. You know, Celtic do look out in their feet. Even their subs, I don't think have made an impact. Have we seen Maeda, that one that he cuts back? Forrest maybe a wee bit
been
more.
fine.
But tiredness leads to mistakes, Mark, in the later stages of the game for me. I don't know if that's true. I don't even have a stat to back that up.
I thought it was one of your sayings there that you were going to commit to.
I was just trying to commit this.
Shakhtar have got themselves in all sorts of trouble. A crazy back heel attempt. Forrest has it, but unfortunately there are men back. Aaron Moy's operating in a strange area, Mark.
On the right hand side.
He's kind of out in the right. He's trying to swing a lot of crosses in.
You're right. I'm surprised.
He's going to get another goal from the corner. Since he came on, they've put a lot more into the box. He takes this one short, and James Forrest's going to try and stand up, but that's a tired touch again from Matt O'Reilly, I think. And Celtic recycle it.
I like that.
Look at the movement. It's not really there, is it, Gordon?
It wasn't any moving, the recycling. I like that.
Aaron Moy's thrown a lot. He's only been on 10 minutes, and there's a lot of sort of and there could be an issue
hamstring.
here. Giacomakis is holding his hamstring, and I don't really know what that change would look like.
You make a good point, Gordon. I don't think Aaron Moy would play as much to the right that he's operating in just now, and he's thrown some balls in there. I think him and Haksabanovic especially be disappointed with their final delivery.
If Celtic need to make an attacking change, Mark, did they not do this when they were a bit desperate in one of the games? Burnaby on.
Yep,
up one, so you'd maybe move Maeda
last game, against
Leipzig.
Leipzig.
Maeda through the middle if Burnaby came on.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it's really poor from Maeda. He's lost out, and you can see Masouk is on his bike, and
the changes haven't worked for Celtic. I think taking Kyogo at that position, even though he missed a chance, and the personnel haven't quite come into this game and improved it.
Kind of what I meant earlier. You contradicted me well when you talked about the chances, which I accept. Have the changes worked for Celtic in any of the games in the Champions League?
Not to my memory. No, I don't think so.
You feel like we've had this conversation before?
Yeah, I don't think so. I made the point at St Johnstone, remember, that the changes that were being made, the subs that were coming off the bench, weren't really impacting any game, really. Maybe that is the case. Now it's different when they start. So James Forrest, for instance, and Moy then started a few games, and they were definitely different players from what they've shown when they've come off the bench. I think tonight's no different. I mean, Moy, a few moments. Here's a chance for Shakhtar.
Yeah, good block from Moritz Jens. He's done really well.
Steady.
Juranovic just tried to nudge into Mudryk as he burst into the box. It was risky, but he stays on his feet, and it's definitely going all the way back.
They look
now.
like they're finishing the stronger just now. They look like they're really up for a winner here, Gordon. Celtic just need to be careful.
Yeah, lots
spaces
of spaces opening up. You can almost see them. You can see where the next pass is going. Celtic need to find one last deep breath, Mark Wilson, because they do look a bit jaded.
They certainly do, especially going forward. We've seen the first half, and it's the same pattern. The first 45 minutes, committing bodies forward, pressing really high, creating chances. That's all there. But in the second half, and even when subs come on who should be fresh, it just dies a death a wee bit, and it's the same pattern here tonight.
I mean, you look at Celtic's press here, and then Shakhtar have mixed it up because they just boot it long and go right over the top of everyone, and somehow between them, Taylor and Jensen, they do very well.
Good defender. Taylor mopped that up very well, Gordon. You're right, they mixed up. They just decided to go long and ask a question, but Celtic dealt with it well. Apart from they get cut open with an incredible miss, and Mudryk's goal was magnificent, but I think they've defended well.
And Leipzig are going to win, It's Leipzig 3, Real Madrid 1.
Wow, what a result
so it looks like they will win. It's a great result, and it would really shake things up at the top of the group. Not that that's concerning Celtic so much at the moment.
I think
it does, because it means Real Madrid would need to go for it next week to win the group. So even if Celtic can get a winner, which isn't looking overly likely, it does change things for next week a bit.
Yeah, it does.
Our next game.
I was going to say, just even that moment with Greg Taylor there, he gets the ball in the left back position, and he's looking up, and he's looking up, and he's looking up, and nobody's there. That wouldn't happen in the first half.
Yeah, David Turnbull for Real. Hattati, another change for Celtic in the midfield.
He does look like he's ran his race. I know there's only 6 or 7 minutes to go. Hattati, wonderful player. Very rarely see him complete the 90 minutes because he puts so much in. And Turnbull's not a bad player to bring on when you need something to happen. you know, you want to be surprised if something falls to him at the edge of the box, and he's one that can always hit the target. So 6 minutes to go. That will determine what happens next week, if it's a dead rubber for Celtic or there's something to play for.
Again, though, it seems the quality front men are making a difference in this group, Mark. When we saw Vinicius come to Celtic Park, we know what Nkunku did. Nkunku and Timo Werner against Celtic, they too have both scored again against Real Madrid. Mudryk has scored in both games against Celtic. That quality at the top end of the pitch, that is the real difference, isn't it?
Of course, and that's what separates guys like Kyogo and, be harsh maybe, in Giacomakis, but our league from theirs, and why it's 70 million it gets quoted for these guys.
Celtic into the box, Aaron Moy flashes it. On one hand it's well cut out, but it wasn't a great convincing pass from Aaron Moy either.
We've only seen really one of those balls getting whipped in that caused the real problem. It was a goal, Abada. Tonight, some of the deliveries from the wide areas have been poor for Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic do come again. You know, they'll always do this. They'll always get into areas. They very rarely look miles away from creating something. But some of it's been a bit forced, like that O'Reilly. I mean, it's not even a cross; it's a sort of straight.
They've done that
high
a lot
ball
tonight.
into the box.
Yeah, they've put a lot of balls into the box tonight, and I just wonder, Giacomakis' inclusion in the side is certainly something that they've spoke about. Put it in early and maybe feed off the scraps. Now, it worked for the goal. I know it was a low cross in, but it worked. They put it in early. They got a bit scrappy, but he was there for the finish. But to do it every single time maybe goes away from how you've been successful domestically.
Great from James Forrest, but he's got two men for company as he twists and turns. There's only so much you can do. Shakhtar's most advanced player is about 30 yards from goal. Celtic's decision making at key points right in the edge of the box, it's put into Matt O'Reilly, who tries a jumping back heel flick mark to a teammate. It's just not the time.
You know what, it was a good run for him in a good spot, nice little pass. I thought he could have just taken that in his path, and he's on his right foot. Okay,
did you tell him to do that when you saw him today getting into his Porsche?
I know should have given him a few tips, but it was poor decision making.
You joke as if he could even try that.
No,
Look at the imagination.
Yeah, no, that right.
And then it's great from Forrest, but he wanted the 1-2 with Juranovic, and I think it was Juranovic anyway, and it didn't come. But here's Turnbull, edge of the box, not usually shy to have a pop, but just can't get the yard he was looking for. Aaron Moy's really out wide on this right.
He hasn't been out like a wide right.
Yeah, has been since he came on.
But James Forrest, of course, is out there as well.
Yeah.
So it's a strange one. We don't see Juranovic getting up there.
Greg Taylor's ball's over everyone, but luckily Moy's out there because that's where he's been stationed.
Yeah.
Gives it to Forrest. There was a chance. Matt O'Reilly saved by the keeper. It was nearly in the back of the net, but the keeper pushes it away. Or does he even actually? Did it go wide before the keeper got there?
I'm not too sure.
It might just be the angle that we're at.
Yeah,
maybe I think it's actually a miss.
I thought he did save it. Does he pull his hands away?
Nah, yeah, he's nowhere near it. It just shows you actually the angle we were at. It looked like the keeper had got a full stretch. That's a poor finish then from Matt O'Reilly. Very
That's
poor.
a great chance. He's got to shift his feet a little bit better. He's got the quality. He's got space. And he's got to test the goalkeeper for me with the quality he's got.
Tell you my assessment of it.
What?
Tired. I get that.
That's all you said.
I know.
He does look knackered.
It is a lot. You can see so many tired passes, tired touches. That's a tired shot.
It's a heavy leg.
He doesn't sort his feet.
Heavy leg. You're right. As soon as he doesn't move his feet, he's in the wrong position. He just tries to open up. It's a poor finish. But here they come again.
Yeah, a lot of early balls in though for Celtic, which are not really working, and that's a poor touch from Moy on the edge of the box. You just get the feeling it might be slipping away.
Moy looks like he's played 88 minutes.
I know that. I was thinking
which is weird. Even that touch when he gave it away, he just sort of jogged like, I've put a lot into it. He's only been on for like 20 minutes.
This might work because it's such a poor cross from Juranovic that it goes out for a corner. It just kind of hit the first man and was nowhere near anyone else. So a bit of good fortune for Celtic, because they do look like they're just kind of throwing balls into the box at this stage, but the big men are up. They've not come close from a set piece. This would be a good time to start. Turnbull's ball's not good either.
Terrible tonight.
He's
Celtic.
been watching Haksabanovic. Aaron Moy's ball back in, not much better. Well defended though.
Here's the problem: if they break on you with pace, If they break on you with pace, you've got a problem.
Yeah, keep your eye on Mudryk on that far
he's
side.
in the middle.
Oh, and the striker, who is it, the young boy that missed the chance, well, just takes it away.
Juranovic is not happy with that. He felt there was a wild swipe, and there was. It's another booking for Shakhtar. They've not been shy. They've had a few.
They've not been.
To the book. I think is that 4 or 5 into the book. Because Juranovic did brilliantly on the recovery, and just a bit of a wild kick.
Yeah,
it's like knee high.
No doubt about that. But you've got to say, Shakhtar, been impressed with them tonight. I thought Celtic would have won the game tonight. I thought they would have kept a clean sheet. I thought they would have scored a couple of goals. But I've been impressed with this side because it's a lot different performance from the last game.
Well, look, they drew with Real Madrid. They only lost 2-1 in Madrid. They beat Leipzig heavily. We should not be surprised. Maybe we've been clouded by the Celtic performance over in Warsaw. Eventually, not sure it'll be much consolation, Celtic fans. 90 minutes gone now. Mudryk goes off. I'll be sick of the sight of him.
He's sensational. He's never going to be at Shakhtar next year. I mean, one of the big boys will come in and take him. When you've got those attributes and you can finish like he is.
Also, the incentive for Shakhtar that's now gone as well, hasn't it? Because Leipzig will move on to 9 points, even if Shakhtar get a winner.
They can still win.
That's why I'm
ignore me.
I'm a bit surprised at that
result from Shakhtar. They've had a good game plan tonight. We said it in the first half, to get everybody behind the ball.
No, sorry, hold on.
It's not brilliant.
Shakhtar are only gone on to 6 points with this. Giacomakis hits the post, but I think
they've beat Leipzig.
The had gone.
So if they beat Leipzig again,
right,
so a head to head, they will go in second place. So they've played terrific stuff tonight in terms of defensive, but the athleticism to get up in Mudryk.
Do you know what? Actually, Giacomakis there, I wonder if he's is he unfortunate? Does the defender go? He does go down a bit easily.
A bit, yeah.
But anyway, the ball
doesn't
hit the post. So how many minutes added on? 3. So we've already passed a minute of those. Not long left. It looks like Celtic will finish bottom of this Champions League group. Certainly been impressive moments and performances. There's certainly been chances created, but in terms of the cold hard facts of it all, it's not going to make good reading. Bottom of the group so far, unless they can find a late winner. I
know there's one more game to go, but I've certainly enjoyed watching the brand of football. Tonight's been another, what I call, very, very good entertaining game of football. Okay, if you're a Celtic fan.
Is it just you that calls it that?
Probably.
It's just he likes to call
like
it
when
that.
he says that as if it's his saying, his phrase.
It's a weird one for me tonight. I think this has been one of the
poorer performances
and the least enjoyable performances. Even when Real Madrid came here,
you're a big Celtic fan. We've just seen the end to end. Gordon and I are tired watching this.
But I mean, just excitement. In Leipzig, there was moments in the game, real edge of the seat. This was a different performance that I don't know. The Celtic fans will tell us on the phone what they thought. That's just my opinion. It's been one of the more underwhelming performance. Not to say they've been bad, I'm not saying that at all.
So what you're really saying is you'd like to be sitting in that seat at the Hydro listening to Robbie Williams.
Let me entertain Robbie Williams on just now.
I think he's just about to pull out Angels.
I
might catch you encore. Can you handle the phone in?
You batter on.
Well, yeah. I was all going so well for 45 minutes. I could have scooted along the expressway and right in at half time.
Do you know what's so bad about this? You two are whinging. You were whinging because you missed Robbie tonight. And in an act of sympathy, someone in the company has got in touch to offer you two guest list to Robbie Williams on Thursday night.
No way.
That's what
You're lying.
Bad. I'm not lying, I'm deadly serious.
We're going 100%. We're going.
Get your best bootcut jeans and loafers looked out, Gordon DL. You've got a hot date with Mark
Wilson.
Wilson.
Your leather waistcoat on like Robbie back in Take That days.
Anyway,
it's not turned out all bad tonight.
One last chance, Celtic.
Come on,
the delivery from wide areas has been a real disappointment, hasn't it? Aaron Moyes just flashed one right at the goalkeeper again.
Yeah. And I keep going back to it. It's something that must have been spoke about in training, because I've never seen Celtic put in so many crosses, but almost hopeful crosses.
What is and there we go, full time whistle at Celtic Park. Andrew McLean.
Celtic 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, the full-time score, and Celtic's European journey is over for the season because of an absolute wonder goal by Mykhailo Mudryk. Well, Celtic had a lot of the ball in dangerous positions in the first half, didn't create too many clear-cut chances until their first came, and they scored at 36 minutes in. Sead Haksabanovic carried the ball down the left, drilled in a low cross towards Leila Bada. His shot was blocked, but it rolled into the path of Yorgos Giakoumakis, who slid in and found the bottom corner for 1-0. He was close to a second shortly after, a powerful long-range effort saved by the diving Anatoly Trubin. Shakhtar did create one chance before the break. Mudryk got in behind with his pace, but Joe Hart rushed out well to stifle his shot. After the break, the visitors looked more lively. Lassina Traore was played into the box. It was a terrible effort on goal from him, but it was dragged, or it looked as if it was being dragged well wide. Alexander Zubik was there at a tight angle. He ran onto it, but he could only hit the side netting on that occasion. Then a moment of real magic drew the visitors level. We talked about him before the game. Mykhailo Mudryk, he picked up the ball running towards the Celtic box. He cut in from around 20 yards out, picked out an unbelievable finish into the top corner. Absolutely no chance for Joe Hart. A really special goal to make it 1-1. At the other end then, Kyogo was played through 1-on-1, but just wasn't assured enough in his finish, and that was saved by Trubin in the Shakhtar goal. Then honestly, I can't even describe how bad the miss from Shakhtar was after this. Fantastic work once again by Mudryk, picking the ball up in his own half, skipping over the challenge of Cameron Carter-Vickers. He drove into the box, he drew Joe Hart out, cut it across to Danilo Sekan, and with the whole goal at his mercy, he took a terrible first touch and he just had to stand there and watch as the ball rolled at a snail's pace past the post. It looked as if he should have scored, had to score at that point, but it stayed at 1-1. Celtic then went close to getting that vital goal with 3 minutes to go. James Forrest with a cross, it found Matt O'Reilly. He couldn't sort his feet out properly and could only divert the ball wide. There will be no Europa League football for Ange Postecoglou's men after Christmas. The full-time score here at Celtic Park is Celtic 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1.
Well, what did you make of that, Celtic fans? The Champions League campaign is over. European football is over for the season. 01419511025. We are here until 11 o'clock, and it's your chance to have your say. Again, another encouraging enough performance in places, but it's going to be bottom of the group. That's going to be the cold hard facts. 2 points maybe could be added to. It would be a big ask away to Real Madrid. But ultimately, what did you make of that performance? Get in touch right now and let us know. 01419511025. Of course, you can tweet us as well at Clyde SSB. Mark Wilson, how would you sum it up?
Well, disappointing, obviously, overall. Celtic had the opportunity to keep European football alive, and they just didn't do quite enough tonight in the final third. I think the previous games that they've played, they've done much more in the final third, created much more clear-cut chances, yet failed to take them. Tonight, it was the opposite. They created much fewer chances, but they managed to take one, but still ultimately left themselves open at the back. And when I'm thinking up the actual clear-cut chances in the game, Shakhtar certainly edged it, and you could argue that Shakhtar will go away thinking they should have won the game, even though Celtic probably had better possession and more territory. So again, another learning curve. Ange Postecoglou will say it is, but they need to find a way to win at home in these games, because ultimately it's your home form that dictates where you go in European competition.
Yeah, if you only manage 2 points against the third pot team in the group, Gordon, it's going to be tough to get in. That's all Celtic have to show for this group so far. A point away at Shakhtar, a point at home at Shakhtar, and ultimately that's why there'll be no European football after Christmas.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed not to get 3 points on the board, Gordon, but you're right, they come up against a side tonight that I thought, when you look at it overall, and Mark highlighted it there, their game plan was brilliant, really was. They were disciplined, they allowed Celtic in the wide area. Celtic, if I'm Celtic, I think Postecoglou will be very happy, very proud of his players. So will the Celtic fans going home tonight, but their delivery from the wide areas let them down. But if you look at the opposition tonight, their game plan was great. They should have scored more than one. The Celtic got undone with an absolute fantastic goal, and you've got to give the lad all the credit in the world. But it's been a learning process for him as well, and I think they'll take a lot out of it. I like to attack in formation. I like Kyogo in behind the striker. I think that answers a question: can you play the both of them together? Certainly yes, and I think we'll see that in the future. So there's a lot of positives for Celtic to take out of it.
I mean, overall, Mark, the group's been don't know how you would sum up. Fine. Is that? I mean, it's certainly not good. How can bottom of the group be good? It's obviously not good. So maybe it's not even fine. But because of the performances, I'm not sure. We're opening the phones now. I'm not sure we'll get anyone who thinks it's been a disaster or an embarrassment. It probably doesn't go that far. It's certainly not been good. How can it be when you're bottom of the group?
No, well, a disaster is where you're getting thumped every game and you don't see a process, you don't see a progression, you don't see a style of play. It's as far away from that as you could ever think, because Ange Postecoglou's side has got a style of play. They have troubled some of the best players in the world, but for better finishing, they could have been in a much better position. But these players will get better at this level. You know, the more they play in the competition, the more they work at their shape. Because, trust me, because it looks good domestically and it looks good in the Champions League with Tati and Taylor and everybody rotating, doesn't mean they won't work in it to perfect it. The bit they've got to perfect is when they go forward and they lose the ball, is getting people behind the ball to make it hard. You've seen a Shakhtar team tonight that had that down to a T. You've seen a Leipzig team at Celtic Park had it down to a T. In Real Madrid, that's the difference why Celtic end in 2 points and the other teams are far ahead in this group.
And I'm thinking it's the quality at the top end of the pitch. Gordon, I said it during the game, but for anyone who's just joining us, you go through Celtic's group: Mudryk, Werner, Nkunku, Vinicius. These are all guys that have scored against Celtic and have also scored in other games in the group. And ultimately, Jota, Kyogo, Abada, Giacomakis, Haksabanovic are very good players. They're not as good as those other guys that we just mentioned. Yeah,
you look at Mudryk tonight, you look at his goal special, look at some of his play. You're talking 70 million, Gordon. That's a level you're at for these guys. That's a quality, and they can make a difference. As much as, you know, Giacomakis will argue, I scored the same amount of goals as him tonight, but when it's a big stage, these guys can produce it when it's needed, and you've seen that tonight. His team's 1-0 down. Celtic think they've defended them well, and so do we in this studio. Think that Juranovic has done everything right. Mark's played there many times as a full back, shown him inside, thinking, right, okay, we've cut the danger out, and next minute the ball's in the back of the net. Just absolute quality, brilliance.
Right, come on then, what did you make of that, Celtic fans? Maybe some of you will be getting back in the cars or the buses or the trains or whatever by now. 0141 951 1025. Sum up that game, sum up the Champions League campaign, sum up the European campaign, because it is over for another season. How tough is that to take? Where did it go wrong? Let us know.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchised dealer groups in the UK. Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family. Click and drive, the simple contactless way to buy a car. This is Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Okay, let's start the post-match analysis then. Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. They've watched the game. You lot either watched it at home or, even better still, you were at it. Pick up the phone and let us know what happened. What was the performance like for Celtic tonight? That's European football over for the season. How do you sum up the campaign? Let us know. Kevin's first up from Motherwell. Kevin, how did it go for you?
I've just did a way back for the game now. I was just saying, your guy there answered the phone. It's probably it's the most important game of the group, and it's the worst we played. But saying that, I don't actually think we played particularly bad. But I just think it's because I think the expectations of watching Celtic this season, and I know we've only had the 1 point before the night, but the expectation is we've been brilliant going forward, creating loads of chances, and that just wasn't the case tonight. The chances kind of came and went. Really, they were kind of really rare, to be honest, but at no point did I feel when we were going forward, we've got to score here. It was one of the nights I just felt we've got to give the ball away. It was the exact opposite, and as I was saying to the producer, I think that we will definitely come back better placed, better experienced, and a better team next year in Europe. For this experience, I think we've came on definitely for last year. But ultimately, the strongest part of your game in Scotland, which is scoring goals, has ironically been the thing that's let us down in Europe, and there's no getting away from that. They've missed far too many chances, and it's cost us.
Mark?
Yeah, well, you can't argue with that, what Kevin says. There are far too many chances, not converting enough of them, and it does cost you at this level, and it's never been a problem. But I do believe the more you play at this level, particularly front players, the composure will be there. It's hard to think of another campaign that you would go through and create that many chances and not take a portion of them. And it's just not felt for Celtic in front of goal. Giakoumakis, again, you've got to say, did his job tonight. No, he didn't score a hat-trick or anything, but he was putting the team to score a goal, and he did. He got Celtic ahead. But again, I keep saying it's a balance. At one end, getting it right, in both boxes, getting it right. And when Celtic are one up, again, the worst they should come away with is a one goal win. I haven't seen it at half time. I can see more goals in this for Celtic. I can't really see them conceding. And look what happens. Shakhtar should have scored more than one in the second half.
Having said that, the goal that they do concede is absolute elite from Mudryk, isn't it? So
yeah, that's top notch. That's this level for you. You know, in the Champions League, you know, you get one. He's the one superstar in that side who can do that. You know, and he's shown on this stage that he can perform on this stage. You made a good point to Daz about Kyogo and Jota and Haksabanovic and all those guys who are amazing domestically, just haven't quite been there in this Champions League campaign. But it's their first one.
But you've got to balance it up with that, Mark. Everybody's highlighting Celtic's missed chances. Now, I love the way Celtic go about their business, right? I love that attacking flair. They get as many attacking forwards on the pitch as they possibly could tonight in a must-win game. So the manager's brave. He's gone for it. But when you do that, you're going to give up chances at the other end. Of course you are, because you've not got enough defensive midfield players. You've not got enough cover for your back men. And if you look in overall play tonight, I thought first half Celtic played very well. I thought they were sharp, everything. They ran out of steam a little bit in the second half. But if you look at it overall, they probably had the best chances to win the game.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt because of the sitter, but then Kyogo's chances, it's
yeah,
not as
the
not
lad
as
at the back post when number
I
two.
think you two
I think he's got to do better than that.
That's a tight
but
angle.
Even take that away, Gordon. I never. Even tonight, I looked at the attacking lineup and I thought there's goals here for Celtic, but I never look at them and think they're going to keep a clean sheet.
No,
because they're that open. And I'm not negative against that. I like the way he plays.
Say it again though. That's one clean sheet in 30. Is it Champions League games?
Yeah.
As I said, 29 before, and it was Anderlecht away. Probably an unexpected one at that. It just goes to show you the level of competition you're coming up against. If you're having to score 2 and 3 goals at home, it's incredibly hard. Scoring goals, hardest thing in the game.
Yeah. Kevin, what about, you know, overall, and how do you sum up that campaign? It feels like you're okay with it. Clearly you're not delighted because you don't want to be bottom of the group, but you don't sound too down about it either. Is that fair?
No, because I think even if you watch it on the telly and you watch the experienced pundits on different channels, guys that have played top level, they've all said the same. They've all been mega impressed with Celtic, and they felt that we've been unlucky. I don't really necessarily agree with that. I don't think we've been unlucky. I think at this level, you need to finish. That Mudryk had one chance and he scored it. That's the difference. So, but I just think there's been progress. We've not looked. It's hard. I hope that makes sense here, but I don't think that we look out of place. We're in the group that we're in, but I still don't think we're necessarily ready for that level. I think we should be maybe. We'd probably be better placed against Europa League teams, things like that. That's probably more, but that's where we can gain better experience, maybe. But we've done the club proud. When I saw the group, I can remember in the summer there was a Rangers fan phoned up in June, just as you were winding down, and he said to Hugh Keevins, Celtic will finish with 0 points and 0 goals. That was in June. Well, I bet he wish he kept his mouth shut now. I know they've not been, if he's not too far off it, but
exactly. 2 points.
He was sitting clapping his hands and now he shut.
I kind of get it. Must admit, I've never really, just a personal thing, bought into this distinction that we keep making about the level, Mark, and you keep hearing it about people determined to draw this big conclusion about whether you do or do not belong at the Champions League, or maybe Europa League is your level, and so on. I mean, Rangers played Leipzig in the Europa League last season and obviously beat them, and that's a team that's finished above Celtic in the Champions League this stage. Look, once you start talking about the Real Madrids, etc., but if you're in the Europa League, it's perfectly possible you play opposition round about Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah.
And ultimately, without stating the obvious, there are 8 groups in the Champions League, which means 8 teams are going to finish bottom of their group. Does it mean they all don't belong? I don't really get it. I think ultimately it means you don't belong in the knockout stages, clearly, because the tournament will tell you that.
I agree with you totally. I do think Celtic belong at this level
in the group stages.
But quite clear that they don't belong any further than that. And they will get better. Now, the thing I think Celtic fans are hoping for is that win to say, look, there you are, there's success, we can beat the top teams. That's the next stage. You go back 12 months to where Celtic were in the Europa League, and things weren't going great, and then into the Europa Conference League, even worse. So a progression would be to get to the knockout stages of the Europa League. That might be a progression, but it'll be better for this next year. You've got to think, if it's a similar group of players that they keep in the summer, and they make the Champions League, then they'll be better for the experience.
It's that whole balance of performance versus result, Gordon. That's 5 games now, and Celtic haven't even looked close to being out of place performance wise in those 5 games. But I would also respect anyone's right to say, well, hold on a minute, bottom of the group and 2 points is hardly much to shout about. So again, it's that, and we've seen it in a more positive sense as well. You know, talking about domestically, is it all about the result, or are you trying to put performances clearly matter to people? That's why Kevin's finding some crumbs of comfort in there.
The positive for me for Celtic is that they've held their own in most of the games, Gordon. You can look at finishing, you can look at, because of the attacking options, and I know a lot of pundits out there and ex-managers and managers and coaches always think, you know, maybe go a little bit more negative in the middle of part, 2 sitting midfield players give a bit of cover, but this isn't the manager's way. And I've got to be honest, I've bought into it. I like watching as a neutral. And as much as the Celtic fans are coming on saying tonight, well, we didn't play as particularly well like we've played in the past, I thought Celtic played okay tonight. I really did, I enjoyed it. But you're coming up against a little bit of quality, and when that quality gets an opportunity, then they can hurt you.
Right, thank you, Kevin. What about Brian on the line? How do you see it at the moment, Brian?
Hi, just 3 quick statements, not necessarily points.
Okay.
I think absolutely no regrets, no complaints about tonight. The only thing I would say is I think Ange got it wrong playing Abada. He's not played well in Europe at all. And Forrest should have started, and Moy should be nowhere near that team. And even like we 1-0 up, maybe a Partizan Belgrade when Jackie and Austin played years ago. We 1-0 up, and we've got a corner, and we've got every man just to be in their half. That's when obviously the Brogan scored. And my last point is Mudryk is different class. Other than that, no regrets, but I just think some solid tactical changes by Ange.
Well, we will not be disagreeing on the Mudryk point. Andy, who's watched any game of football at any level, will tell you he's a player, so we'll agree on that. What's annoying you about Aaron Moy then, Brian? Because I feel like he keeps popping up domestically recently, and Celtic fans keep telling us on Twitter that he's very good and he's putting in some good performances, but didn't manage to impact the game much tonight, did he?
He's pedestrian, and his passing was pretty poor as well. And even like a number of things go back to Crosses coming in to say, just Crosses won a good off. But all said and done, I think they were a far better team than us. I'm absolutely no complaints about the result. But I just think Forrest has been on fire recently. And they come on, okay, like they were sitting back. Shakhtar were sitting back, but Forrest came on, he had to run out players, and he done well. But Abada in these games, Champions League level, he's just looked at his depth. He's looked like a rabbit in headlights, in all honesty. And it's just like Andy's made a few mistakes there. But I would say Taylor, I thought Taylor has been immense for us. He's come on, Andy's got him on. I think he's your best player, right, Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, Mark, we keep talking because it's so obvious that, you know, the difference between domestic and European competition. It's obviously a step up. Brian's picked out a couple of individuals that he thinks in particular are not bridging that gap. Abada being one, and Aaron Moy being the other. Maybe a bit different for Moy because it's sub appearances here and there in Europe, but would they be good examples.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Brian on both of those. I was surprised that Abada started tonight. I had Forrest in to start just because, look, his recent form, and I thought Abada at this level, yeah, he does look a wee bit short, and that's not to say he won't be any good at this level in the future, because I think the boy's a good player, but he's still young, he's still adapting, and he just looks a wee bit out of his depth. So for that instance, I thought, yeah, James Ford. Moy looks a good player domestically for Celtic. Looks like when everything's going his way and Celtic have got plenty of possession and he can take his time and control games, it is easy for him and he looks a player. But at this level, we all know this is a totally different standard, and you need to make the most of possession when you get it. You need to be mobile, you need to be quick now at this level, and he does look far off it. Well, the manager
So why
actually
did you have
backs
him
it
in
up.
your starting 11?
Well, the manager backed that up. He didn't.
why
Well,
did-
I don't see him every day.
But you had him in your starting
I put
11.
him in my starting 11.
Why then? Because
Well, I'm
you've
trying
just-
to tell you, but you keep
you've
speaking
been
over me.
negative against him.
But I put him in my starting 11 for his performance domestically. We've not seen him start one of these Champions League games. All we've seen is him off the bench. Now the manager must have thought this is too much to start him, otherwise he would have started him. We spoke about how him, Hatate and O'Reilly have formed a good three domestically, but the manager just looked at that and thought, no, this isn't going to do tonight. So that tells a story.
What surprised me was the position he was taking up. We watched him live last week at Fir Park, and he played more at central and he got involved in things. But tonight he seemed to, it was like nearly was a right winger, and I'm thinking, I don't understand that. Now I totally can
Yeah,
take,
but not in the up and down the touchline
no
variety.
no and Matt and I both agree. I looked at him at one point, thought, has he been on since the beginning? Because he looks knackered. But you go back to the Abada discussion, Gordon. Now you can look at it, and I totally agree that I'm a James Forrest. I think experience wins hands down, right? The Abada's a young lad, he's come on the scene, he's been brilliant, and let's be positive about it. Was him that made a fantastic run to get Giakoumakis the opportunity to score and put the ball in the back of the net. Apart from that, he contributed not a lot. I think if you're looking at, there were big gambles tonight. We didn't know Kyogo was going to play in behind the strikers. I thought that was an excellent choice. I thought it looked lively. That'll be something going forward. But me personally, if you look at the full game, I would always went for Forrest.
I mean, well, I was going to say arguably most people would agree Jota's the best of the lot, Mark.
Yeah.
And he's not been available
By far.
I mean, that's football, isn't it? Though every team's having to deal with injuries, so I'm not sure Ange Postecoglou would offer it as an excuse. It would have been nice. Would it have made a difference? Who knows?
Well, you always need your best players against the best teams in Europe, so it's unfortunate. But I said about Rangers earlier, when you've got a big squad, you just need to get on with it. Now, you could argue that Celtic are strong in the wide area, so if they're going to lose somebody, it might be somebody in the wide area. It's just other guys, have they really stepped up to the mark? I think Haksabanovic has looked okay in stages. Maeda, well, you get him pressing, but you don't get the creativity. So when you take Jota out, he presses well, he creates, he scores. It's always going to be a big loss for you. But the other side, I think we've seen enough of Abad at this level just to think there's a wee bit to go in his development to stand out.
Brian, are you like the previous caller where there's not much to celebrate, but you're not that down about the campaign overall?
I'm not that down, but the point I made, one of the points you never commented on, it's a wee bit of the one I mentioned, that we've 1-0 up, right? A victory's what we want. We've got a corner, we push everybody up to the halfway line. There's nobody behind the halfway line, and that's when they go and break and score. It was a bit like the mentioned watching Celtic against Partizan Belgrade many years ago. Celtic have got to realise that I'm surprised that Ange letting that happen. We're in control of the game, we're 1-0 up. Why be pushing people on to try and get a second goal?
Brian, where do you want people? If it's a corner to you, you're not going to keep people all the way back in your own half.
No, I know, but you're going to guys. You watch the goal back and you just see we hit everybody just in their half. There was nothing.
Yeah,
it just broke. I mean, they were clapping. That was their counter attack. That was their style.
But the big problem was, Brian, that when Gordon highlighted it, when it broke and there was Carter Vickers had an opportunity to take a foul, and he could have pulled the player back and he didn't. Now that leaves then a foot race between Mudryk and Juranovic where you don't want to be. So when you don't take that foul already, it's too late. and they got punished.
And then Gordon, just
Celtic
quickly, because
had
I've just
four
watched it back. Yeah,
4 players.
it's a 4-on-3 in Celtic's favour. Now
Right.
they are scrambling, but it's 4-on-3 in
Yeah.
Celtic's favour. Then you get one of the better finishes you'll see anywhere in Europe.
When Mudryk steps inside, Juranovic shows him inside. There are 4 Celtic
Yep.
defenders, there are 4 players, plus the goalkeeper. Right now, let me tell you now, as a coach, manager, stroke, whatever, you're thinking, right, it's got to take a wonder here to score. And the lad produced a wonder. You've got to just, like, as a neutral, you clap him and say, that is incredible, that's a great piece of skill. If that had been a Celtic player, we'd be talking about that next season. A fantastic goal it was. Okay, you can strip it down. Why do you put attacking players? But when he steps inside, he's what, 20 yards, 22 yards out. There are 4 Celtic players in the line of him and the goalkeeper, and he still manages to put it in the top corner. So sometimes put your hands up and
I'll tell
just
you
say,
what,
I've been beaten.
maybe
here.
even better than that, Mark. It doesn't go in the corner. From just outside the box, he manages to hit it with so much power that it dips over Joe Hart. It's quite central, actually. It's
incredible.
It's a stunning finish.
Unsavable. Joe Hart's a quality keeper, and he already made one good save for him in the first half. But you're just not saving that. And Daz right. If you look at that, if you ran attack v defence in training, I think you're quite pleased with how your defenders have pushed them inside into an area where there's bodies in there to block a shot, and you're quite happy with him shooting for 20 yards. But the guy's a wonderful player, and unfortunately he pulls one right out the top drawer.
Right, thank you, Brian. How do you feel, Celtic fans? How do you sum it up tonight? How do you sum up the campaign as a whole? We'll hopefully hear from Ange Postecoglou very soon, so get your call. The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
This is Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Okay, the post-match analysis is well underway. Celtic have drawn at home to Shakhtar Donetsk. It means they will finish bottom of the group. There will be no Europa League football after Christmas. And on we go to look back on what happened tonight and what's happened over all the other previous matches as well. 5 matches in total. Let's bring in Lindsay, who's from Kilwinning. How would you sum it up, Lindsay?
I said that I can see the potential, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits that the team's made such huge steps in such a short space of time, but we're still lacking in that final finish. So I'm ultimately gutted, but I can see the potential there.
So when you say that, you're talking about, just general performance, balance of play. You've been to the games, you've watched it with your eyes. You don't feel like Celtic are miles out their depth. You just missing that sort of cutting edge.
No, yeah. One of your other callers just before there said that Shakhtar were above us and that we were just out of our league. Against maybe other teams, I would have said that, but I don't think we were out of our league tonight. We definitely looked that we were right up for it, and we matched them, and actually in some cases I think we actually outplayed them. They were just obviously their goal was excellent, and they break, and when they do they take advantage, but our play for the general part of the match was far better than theirs.
Yeah, Mark, I must admit, yes, fair play to Shakhtar. They got a point against Real Madrid. Could Celtic do the same? Fine. But we've seen Celtic go head to head with Shakhtar over 180 minutes. Mudryk outstanding, but there's clearly not much between those sides. Drawn twice for a start.
Yeah, and I think the game over in Poland, Celtic were by far the better team. Shakhtar were only in it really for about maybe 10 minutes of that first half, and Celtic should have won it. Tonight, territory, I think Celtic controlled the majority of that, particularly in the first half. Second half, it got to that stage in it that they just fell out it. Now, that's the difference, that when you've got a superstar like Mudryk, you get punished. And then there was a wee period that Shakhtar had outstanding chances, a couple of real good chances. But no, I fail to see how Celtic were out their depth against Shakhtar. They're very similar, but Shakhtar have just found a way of playing against the big teams better than Celtic.
I was going to say, what's next then, Gordon? Because for all Celtic have had these encouraging signs that Lindsay mentions, can you imagine the Celtic team grinding out a draw with Real Madrid yet? It doesn't feel like you can. Why is that?
I think they're still in the learning process, Gordon. They've got obviously new players there with Postecoglou, the new style. They're attacking every game. They don't have a negative thought when they get into games. Now everybody's concentrating on this. Well, we've played in the Champions League, that's 5 games. They've scored 3 goals. They've created a lot of chances. Yeah, they're worried about that, but the good thing, positive, they're creating the chances. But you look at the other side as well. For the good play and the positive play and going forward in the attacking players, they've played 5 games and lost 10 goals. So there's a balance there to get, Gordon. As much as every Celtic fan will come on and say, oh, we've just missed chance after chance and we should put the ball in the back of the net, it's a different level. You look at the league, 11 games, 39 goals for, 9 against, right? But I look at the balance of it. 3 goals in the Champions League for 5 games, but they've lost 10. So there's a bit of work to be done to get that fine balance, and that will come with playing against top level teams and top level players.
Who impressed you tonight, Lindsay? And I guess on the flip side, who didn't?
I agree. Well, actually, I felt Kyogo didn't really impress me. I feel like he loses the ball quite easily at his feet, and he doesn't quite, like, he got in front of goal and he looked like a rabbit in headlights. He didn't know what to do, and then it got taken off him. So I was a wee bit disappointed with him, but I think he should have played Forrest for the word go. Forrest made a difference when he came on, but we were far too late in the game for that.
Yeah, seen a bit of a theme developing on Forrest. Kyogo, Mark, you guys liked him in that role. You thought it worked up to a point. What's happening with his chance taking? Because I get it was only one, but you might need to do that at this level. Giacomakis got one tonight, stuck it away.
Yeah,
Kyogo's is a pretty simple chance.
Yep, I think he's gone through a sticky stage just now in his career. Now, I'm not just saying this because it's after this game, but I said it before the game, and that's why I thought Giacomakis would play over him tonight in that number 9 role. Even last week at Motherwell, we seen him miss a couple of chances. Daz, you'll know much better than me. I mean, a striker's confidence, if you miss a few, does it then affect you? I don't know what you need to really get over that in that position. But on his performance tonight, I disagree with Lindsay in that. I quite liked him in that position. I thought he took up good positions. I thought when he got the ball, he looked to go for it. He picked a couple of nice passes in the first half. Yes, his chance was a big moment. It was a big moment. But with the manager is the one that counts. He must have agreed with Lindsay because he taken him off at an important point of the game. So he must have not seen enough. See
the difference you're talking about. You highlighted it, Mark. We seen him in Wednesday and he missed a few chances, but he eventually got his goal because they keep getting chances. Like say tonight. Now you've seen the sort of the sort of how he felt when he come off the pitch. I have to say that was my big moment in the Champions League to score, because he knows he's not getting 2 and 3 of them a game. Gordon highlighted it. Giacomakis got one chance. Fortunately for him, bang, puts it in the back of the net. That's the difference at that level. You might not get the 2-3 that you get week in, week out domestically. You might just get that one chance. You might get that half chance. We talk about the quality that other teams have got. Tonight, when you see where Mudryk was at one point, you're thinking, okay, Celtic have recovered the situation. All of a sudden, bang, it's in the back of the net. That's the difference.
Lindsay, don't think you can come on here and not tell us the story that you told the producer about your troubles getting to the game tonight. That's not happening.
I was literally about to arrive at Celtic Park when my husband phoned to say, you don't have the tickets, they're sitting in the kitchen.
Oh, what a disaster.
Now obviously, like any loving husband did, he brought them up for you. He didn't make you drive all the way back home, did he?
He actually drove as far as 15 minutes he drove to meet me at a petrol station.
Fair enough, that's a gesture. It's 15
He
minutes
must be
further
a
than
Rangers
Gordon Duncan would have driven.
Oh no chance.
I can't believe he didn't bring them all the way.
Do you know I would have played it the different way. I wouldn't have told her that the tickets were there. Right.
And how much did you miss, or did you make it?
I made it with 1 minute to spare, but I tested my car to its maximum speed limit.
Sorry if the police officers are listening. I'm sure it was all within the realms of legality. Lindsay, well, thanks for sharing your thoughts. It was some good stuff. A safe trip home, please.
Thank you. Nice
Good
talking
stuff.
to you guys.
Lindsay from somewhere between Glasgow and Kilwinning. She'll probably do a few shuttle runs back
By
and
a
forward.
distance as we I mean, it's not just round the corner, is it?
No, it's not.
So,
but I've been at Celtic Park on nights like this. I know you're all stuck in traffic, so you might as well give us a call and let us know how you saw it tonight. We can't be far away from hearing from Ange Postecoglou. That would be my hope. Aidan, how do you sum up things in the Champions League this season then?
I thought things went okay. Could have been a lot better. I think we could have progressed if we just started taking our chances. But there was a few players tonight I thought looked good as well. Thought Greg Taylor looked good. He was all right. Moise Jed's another good performance for him. But Hatate and O'Reilly were just off it tonight.
Hatate and O'Reilly were off it tonight.
I think it's a difficult shift for A2, Gordon, because they've got so many attacking players on. But I'll get back to Ian. I think Greg Taylor has convinced everybody he's a quality Celtic fullback. He's been terrific from the beginning of the season. Did he have his doubters? Yes, he did. Not just myself, I'll be first to admit it. I wasn't his biggest fan, but he's certainly turned me around, and some of his plays brilliant down that left hand side. He's become such an important player for Celtic.
on the point of Hatate and O'Reilly, I didn't think they were off it. I just don't think they were as good as what they've been, and probably the standards of set.
Hatate was alright, was he not?
They were fine. I thought they took up some good positions. O'Reilly's unlucky with the one he curls past the post. Hatate, couple of nice bits of composed play, but they just didn't quite hit the heights. But I would go through the full Celtic team tonight. You know, watching him in the Champions League.
Apart from Taylor, though, was he the standout?
Taylor's in just a rich vein of form just now. He can hardly do anything wrong. And I love to see that because of the stick he took. But apart from that, all the Champions League games, this was the most underwhelming performance I've seen. And I'll go back to it. It's not to say that Celtic played bad. I probably just expected more. When I seen 6 attacking players in that lineup, I thought they are going to overwhelm Shakhtar, and I don't think they quite hit those heights.
Do you think that Shakhtar almost respected what Celtic did over there in terms of performance level, and did a bit of a number in the sense that Celtic it wasn't quite the low block they face in domestic football, far from it, because you know how well Shakhtar break, but that's what they did. They broke.
Yeah.
You know, Celtic were still always up against a very disciplined team, and they knew with guys like Mudryk they can then break. So I wonder if although of course you can criticise Celtic for maybe not being as creative, was it actually one of the better defensive performances from an opponent we've seen come up against Celtic this season?
I think so, and I said it during the game that I thought, or just at the end of the game, I thought it was a terrific performance from Shakhtar in that respect. That I think they allowed Celtic a lot of the possession, but we highlighted it in the first half. Traore, centre forward, was 35 yards from his own goal. They broke up play, and before you knew it, they were bearing down on Joe Hart, and Mudryk should have scored. So these teams adapt because they know how good Celtic are at coming forward, how fast they start, but they're willing to adapt to get a positive result.
I like the word you used, Aidan, to sum up Celtic's campaign. Okay, is that about it?
It was okay. There was signs of progression. There's signs of progression. There's signs that we're getting better, but there's just one. We're just missing something. I don't know what, but we're just missing it.
Gordon, what are they missing?
Mudryk, a £70 million
Kunku
finisher.
No, yeah. I just think there's a balance to everything. As I highlighted 2 minutes ago, everybody's talking about the chances missed, but they still gave up 10 goals. I agree with Mark there about Shakhtar. I thought their performance was brilliant, the way they sat, and they knew that the only way they could hurt Celtic was the pace of goal.
See, the only thing on that, I take obviously that you need a balance. I'm not disagreeing with the principle of that. But see, based on what we've seen from the 5 games from Celtic, is it not fair to say that every team in that group gives up chances the way Celtic do, but not many pass up as many chances as Celtic do in an attacking sense?
Because you could look at the amount of people talking about how many chances Celtic have missed. But I look at a Celtic team, if they're going to go and be better, I think they've got to make sure that there's a clean sheet in there as well.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I do get that, but if you've just referenced Celtic's missed chances as you have, then with that comes the automatic conclusion that these other teams in Celtic's group are giving up chances, but they don't seem to miss as many as Celtic do.
Yeah, but everybody goes back to thinking that's something to do with the Champions League.
Well, it is. Look at the quality of Nkunku, of Modric, of Vinicius.
Right, well, we'll get back to
Werner.
I'll get back to Kyogo's header at Celtic Park early on in the last game. That's nothing to do with this is the Champions League, I'm snatching at this
No, but
header.
I'm not talking about Kyogo versus Kyogo. I'm talking about Kyogo versus Modric.
Oh, they've got players that can turn a game in an instance. You've seen that tonight. Midrick was absolutely brilliant. We didn't think he was going to produce that wonder finish. That's the level you're at, the quality. Do Celtic belong in that group stages? I believe they do. I think they will learn from it. But I go back to, as much as yes, they need to start being more clinical, but also they need the balance of saying, right, okay, if we do get into a 1-0, we know how to see it out in this sort of
I
Champions
suppose
League group.
it's a manager's preference, and it's his decision ultimately what he thinks. Does he think his best bet then
It's just to outscore the opposition?
Is to outscore the opposition, which I believe Ange Postecoglou is trying to do and has faith in? Or does he think Kyogo, for all the good he is, isn't a Benzema or he isn't a Mudryk, so we're going to miss chance, so we go more defensive? It looks like this Celtic manager will never ever do that. I think he'll put trust in his players, but it's how you get that clinical edge at this level is it makes you a superstar. You want to be in Scotland if you were, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan, do you think the team learns from this? Is that all part of it? It is the first season in the Champions League for a while. Is that perhaps not a positive, but something that you can see in the future?
I think we will learn from it, and as we go on we will start performing better in European competitions. But it's been the same for Celtic, like ever since Brendan Rodgers came in. We started playing well, and it's just when Brendan Rodgers came in, the European performances were still just as bad, and it's always been the same for Celtic in Europe.
See, I was thinking, Mark, you've still got to show that you can go and cause something, because Brendan Rodgers gets a lot of stick about his Champions League performances because of those heavy defeats. For a start, he got Celtic there twice, which doesn't always happen. Through the qualifiers, by the way, he drew at home with Man City, he drew away with Man City, and he won 3-0 away in Anderlecht. Now I get it, I've picked out 3 games out of whatever it would have been across the two campaigns, but
6,
well, 12. But
12 campaigns, sorry,
is that do we sometimes overlook that? Because
obviously the big defeats.
So, I mean, is that
sticks in people's
things?
heads? Of course. But at least it's like Postecoglou spoke about a tangible sign of success. I guess drawing against the superstars of Man City and then twice and then getting a victory is relative success at this stage. Neil Lennon will always get overlooked and brushed away, but he's made it to the last 16 of this. So I think that always gets forgot about, because he didn't play pure exciting football. He obviously balanced what I was just saying there. He obviously thought our best chance is to play more pragmatic and try and nick something, and if people like to watch it or not, it's up to them. But it was successful to a certain extent. Ange Postecoglou's never going to go down that route, so either needs to find.
But then does there become a point, because we could spend ages going over the recent European history of Celtic, but when Brendan Rodgers left and Neil Lennon returned, Celtic fans all told us the pragmatic brand of European football was going to return, and they lost 4-1 at home and 4-1 away to Sparta Prague.
What I would then say in defence of that is, it was much Brendan Rodgers' players that Neil Lennon was trying to shape into his team. Neil Lennon had his players, and it worked for him.
Thank you, Aidan. We are going to hear from Ange Postecoglou. I know you Celtic fans are always interested in his take. Well, stay right there and we'll hear it next.
This is Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk. The Old Firm in Europe's big league. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson and Gordon Duncan are here. Another late shift for them, but they're still going strong. Looking for reaction to the game at Celtic Park. A draw on the night. It takes Celtic up to only 2 points in the Champions League group. Not enough to give them any chance. It means they go to the Bernabeu for a dead rubber in the next Champions League game, as far as Celtic are concerned anyway. Real have a bit to play for because they lost in Leipzig tonight, so it's looking very tight at the top of that group. Madrid on 10 points, Leipzig on 9, and Shakhtar up to 6. So between the three of them, they're having a nice old end to the campaign.
Well, Madrid are through, are they?
Yeah, but in terms of winning the group.
In terms of winning the group, yeah.
But yeah, for Celtic, you never know. Go over there.
It's not a bad place to play a dead rubber, is it? I've been to worse places and played.
Just depends how much Real want to top that group.
Maybe I'll take that back then, actually.
Anyway, let's hear from Ange Postecoglou. I know many of you will still be in the car, or you've stayed up late in your houses to listen. Here's what he made of things.
Look, it was a tight game. It was always going to be a tight game. A lot at stake for both clubs, and I didn't expect it to be sort of open and fair with a lot of chances. And I thought for the most part we controlled the game well. We played it in the areas we wanted to. We did create chances. We minimised their threat. We scored the goal, and I thought at that stage that we were in control. Obviously, then they've scored a great goal from a counter attack, which was disappointing from us. But we had a great chance with Kyogo after that, and then they've missed the chance. So it was just a tight football match. You expect at this level. So we're disappointed with the outcome. But in terms of the players' effort and what they put into it, I couldn't ask any more of them. Wins and goals at this level are hard earned, and I thought we earned our goal tonight, and it was great for Joko to score it. We know the areas we've fallen short in this campaign, and they're the areas we obviously need to improve in, but again that only comes with experience and learnings and improvement, and that's our task to take what we've learned this year and improve on it come next year. But we've got to qualify again. I mean, we haven't been in this competition for 5 years, and if you do that, then it's very hard then to come in and just make an impact. Our job and my responsibility is to make sure we're there every year. If we're there every year and we keep chipping away at it, I think we'll be able to make more of an impact.
I think that's fair enough. I think that's what we've been saying all night. The more you play at this level, the more of an impact you can make in the competition, and the better you get, the more experience you get, the more comfortable in your surroundings. And I think that'll be the case for this Celtic team. It's quick to judge where they've came in 12 months. We go back to it all the time, but I think it's right to go back to it because it was such a big transformation at a club. And even the manager, I know he's hugely experienced and he's managed in the World Cup, but this is a different competition, a different level for him also, so he's learning as well. So I think he's spot on. It's a tight game. Wins are hard to come by at this level, but I believe what he said there, it's his responsibility to get them to this level to compete every year. If he can do that, they will get better.
The sad reality is, Gordon, our teams, actually the first step is probably to be in the group stages consistently first. Then you look at it. See 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, Celtic finish bottom of the group and don't win a game. That's when you're getting proper criticism. I don't know if Ange Postecoglou is still there for that length of time, but hypothetically speaking, that's when you've really got to consider what's happening here. Are we making stages? Are we making progress? But if you go from not being in the Champions League to being in the Champions League, that's your first step. And then your next step becomes to get there again and try and make it a more consistent thing.
I think your supporters tells you everything, God. We don't have any supporters on here. Celtic finished bottom of the league criticising the play, the team, the manager, anything. They get along there, and as I keep saying, as a neutral watching football, I've really enjoyed Celtic's Champions League campaign. I like the way they go about their business. Okay, results haven't been good for them, but Celtic fans who go and pay their money, They're not on here criticising, they're on here finding positives, and that's what the manager's trying to get across. Listen, this is new side, this is going forward, this is what we're trying to do. It's a learning curve. We need to take on board all the mistakes and work for it, take all the positives as well. So I think overall, as much bottom of the league, I think Celtic supporters will be happy, and they'll need to keep progressing and learning.
I mean, Mark, there's just no point from him. He's never going to do it anyway, but why would you, in terms of, you know, just suddenly turning up in the Champions League, playing a completely different way, hoping it gets you results? Because then if it doesn't, you know, that's where we would go round in circles, isn't it?
And it's difficult. I reference the 12 months, 500 and whatever days he's been here. He's worked in a certain style of play. Now, if you have to chuck that out the window and start work, where does he get the time to do it? His time's limited as it is when he's got a game Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. So he's got his style. Look, I argued sometimes he should adapt to get something more out of these games. I don't think he's going to do it.
Do you think we've overstated it a bit? See, now that it's done and we know that the bottom of the group, of course it's played a part, that's the whole point. But for all the talk at the start, Celtic aren't out because the style of play, are they? Let's be honest, having looked at those games.
No,
it's not the reason that they're out.
Style of play is attractive. I'm not saying it's been commended, by the way, by opposition players and managers. The fans, Daz is right, the fans on these phones have all been for it. Just need to be clinical in the final third and be tighter at the back, and then you make progress.
Okay, final call of the night. Oresti is on the line. How's it going, Oresti? What have you got for the panel tonight?
Hello?
Hi, I think we can just about hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Right, take it away. What have you got for the panel?
Oh, sorry, I was going to sing Angel, the last...
You were going to sing Robbie Williams for... Do you know what? Do it then. Right, hold it. Shh. Take it away. Since Mark Wilson missed the gig, on you go.
Listen, I love the show, guys. Absolutely amazing. And through it all, she offers me
what's going on?
Affection, whether I'm right or wrong.
That's not bad.
Is that no?
It may take me. I know that life won't break me. Well, because she wants to save me.
I'm loving angels instead.
Just when I thought this show could not get any weirder.
What an end to the night.
Oresti, superb. Thank you very much. Hope you've had a good night.
Mark, can I just tell you something?
What?
A couple of maybe last week, somebody was talking about your goal against Rangers at Dumbarton.
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh my good man, Oresti.
Do you want to know how good that... Alright, I missed the end of the show. We're late. I pressed that button late because he was singing.
It was worth it.
And I was distracted.
Was
Things you
it,
never
man.
thought you would hear.
Brilliant,
there you go.
loved
You've
it.
had the best of both worlds.
Well,
you've had a Champions League night and a private showing from Oresti. Who's even... I think he was playing the guitar for
He
you and
was.
everything.
That's great. Great
good.
talent. Well done, Oresti.
Honestly, what a
What a
show
night.
this is. What a show this is. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you, Mark Gordon and Oresti Williams on the line there. It was another... Well, it's a disappointing end, I guess, to the Champions League campaign for Celtic. Out, bottom of the group, no more European football. Yes, maybe signs of encouragement as we've seen on the phone lines. And now it's over to you, Rangers fans. The same story tomorrow, an extended show until 11 with Simon Donnelly and Marvin Bartley. And of course, Napoli v Rangers at the Stadio Diego Maradona. Make sure you join us for that. And Amber is up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Volvo. The Volvo new car sale event ends soon. You can get 0% APR conditional sale on a Volvo mild hybrid SUV. Taggart's, part of the Lookers family.